All right. I think we are ready to go. Unclicked. I am surrounded by legends of their own rights. We have Jason Enns, accompanied by co-host Mike Escamilla, accompanied by Ryan Biz Jordan, and we have Stu Johnson on the side petting my cat, Rue.
It's the most pussy he's got all week.
Accurate?
Camps at S&M.
Oh, ever. I mean, ever.
Well, thank you for coming down, Jason.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this has been a long time coming.
Yeah.
We have been talking about this off and on for, a year at least.
Hopefully we didn't do it too late. So.
Too late. Yeah?
Well, they maybe we're missing the bubble where people would know.
I mean, Jason hasn't been back to Southern California for 5 years.
More than that.
How's it been? That
19.
long?
6
19,
years.
yeah. 6 years, yeah. Crazy.
Came back for that one pool trip,
Oh, yeah.
Arizona,
Yeah.
2019.
2019.
It's crazy.
6 years. So it's funny because I feel like I've asked questions about you to Rooftop and he won't tell me anything. Where do you live?
I'm currently in Ferndale, Washington.
Ferndale, Washington.
So I'm like 15 minutes south of the Canadian border. So
Okay.
basically as close as I can get to home without going home.
Okay. Is that for a reason?
Mostly for the wife's family.
Okay.
And we can't afford to go home, so it's as close as we can get.
it gets more expensive.
Oh,
across
yeah,
the border.
yeah. Vancouver's insane. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. Where should we jump in? I feel like I am sidelined, guys. Well, first off, I have to thank Dale's for literally overnighting light beer.
Where do I show it to?
Light
you can
beer.
show it right here. Yeah, that is hard to come by on the West Coast.
good.
So
It
yeah,
is.
shout out to Dale's for making that happen and for supporting the podcast. Shout out to Source. Shout out to any other random advertisers we may have in here. I appreciate it. They keep
Keep the lights on.
they do keep the lights on. So, I'm passenger on
I'm
this.
kind of going to be riding a little bit shotgun, too, because we have a BMX historian with us today.
Well, I wrote like as much as I could remember. Some of them might be a little off, but I think they're correct. So
I'm
I
going to
think he'll help with like pinpointing dates a lot as well.
Biz will be like, remember on Tuesday, 1993, March 2nd, where you slipped a pedal. Biz is, I would say, whenever I have a BMX question, I go to Biz. So it will be, I'm very excited about this.
You thought Nowhere Fast came out right after Dirty D.
I did,
Like,
yeah.
You were tripping, man.
Because that's when we started filming it.
Yeah, you probably started filming
We
the
started
day
filming
after.
like 96 or
Yeah.
something. So in my head, yeah,
I feel like we probably started filming Forward right after Nowhere Fast.
probably before Nowhere Fast started.
Probably before.
crossover.
But in my head, Nowhere Fast came out like 97 or 98.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then again, I didn't know I had a part in Nowhere Fast until a few years ago. So I don't know what I know.
No one ever made it to the end of the video.
Yeah. So where do you want to start, Biz?
Yeah.
I guess growing up in Winnipeg, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
How that was for riding.
Unfortunately.
Sub-zero temperatures.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a harsh climate all the way around. Summer sucks, winter sucks. Like super humid, mosquitoes during the summer, and then minus 40 all winter. So it's a pretty tough place, but yeah, like, I guess like it kind of conditions you to get into things, whatever it is. Like a lot of people, music or whatever it is, and we just ended up somehow getting into bikes, even though there wasn't anywhere to ride them.
How far did you live from Osado?
We were as far as you could be, opposite ends of the city. So it'd be...
How many miles is that?
6.
No, it's a fairly big city.
Or kilometers.
Kilometer. I mean, if I had to guess, maybe like 30.
And did you guys pedal back and forth?
Oh,
to
yeah,
his house?
yeah. And we had to go like... He was in an all right neighborhood, and I was in probably a better neighborhood than he was, but all the space in between to get to each other's house was super gnarly.
Yeah.
So it's like you'd try to go as fast as you can, and it wouldn't be uncommon. People would throw bottles at you and stuff. And
How old were you guys when you guys met?
we were probably grade 10, maybe.
Oh, so it wasn't too
Yeah.
much longer before you started going to contests and
Yeah.
stuff.
A
so
stunt
grade-
show, right?
No, we had ramps at it was an outdoor hockey rink, and they had let us put some ramps in there in the summer. It was all gravel, it wasn't even concrete, so we'd have the ramps on the gravel, and that was so. I lived here, Dave lived here, and the ramps were like over there. So the ramps were as far for me to get to as to Dave's house and vice versa. So we'd all just kind of, and that's where we originally met. So we started going, you hear, you live in this town, you hear a rumor, oh, there's a box jump on the other side of town. So you just start pedaling and looking for it.
Was Dave good when you met him?
Yeah. He was real good, but he was secretive. So he would, when people were around, he wouldn't ride, right? So we'd show up and he would just sit there, drink his big gulp, and then sometimes we'd pretend to leave and watch from up above, and he would be like tail whip, nose pick, and he was working on that. He was just super shy, and didn't really talk or anything. And we kind of make fun of him sometimes, but jokes on us.
Wasn't his bike all welded up?
That was
Kuwahara with plates.
He had the Kuwahara Bravo, and he was in metal shop, so drop rod would break off, and he'd put half-inch thick drop, only on one side though, right? So you grind it on that side, so that had a big drop out, and break the head too, weld a gusset on that. Bars were welded, everything was welded.
I've seen the early photos. He legit looks like Crew Jones. He has like a hockey helmet and hockey pads.
Yeah, and he had the ET.
I think Stu has that. You have that photo, right? You put it in his thing, right? But it's ridiculous looking.
Mm-hmm.
How long before, when you guys started riding together, before it was like, oh, every day I'm riding with Dave, or was it just like you saw him sometimes?
We'd start seeing him. I actually have photos. GT came through town for summer tour, and this was I must have been maybe even elementary school still, and I went took pictures and stuff in the background. Long before I knew Dave, he was just on the other side of the spine, like the smile and stuff. And I never realized it until I looked at the photos later, and I'm like, Dave, look at you. Like, we met when we were in elementary school.
You said you met in 10th grade. Now, although I know you put a lot of work into...
Hold on. So you're saying that you guys have you shot photos at a show of Volker riding?
It was Joe Johnson, Sean Leslie, I think...
Is that the 720 Fakie show?
Gary Pollock, I think. It was a GT Dyno summer tour.
And both you and Asato were there as kids, and maybe you guys got into bike riding from the same show?
Yeah. So no, but I have a picture. It's the worst. I didn't know how to take a photo. It's just someone's wheel over the spine. But the main thing in the photo is Asato going.
No way. No way.
Did you notice that years later?
Yeah.
That's Asato.
I didn't. I don't even know how I came across the photo again. And I was
Do you have it?
Yeah, I still have it.
Please send it to me.
I will for sure.
Wow. And, if you think about it in a sense of what's the butterfly effect? Asato, baby Asato, and baby Enns are across
just lining up.
GT show, falling in love with BMX at the same spot
in this wilderness they call Canada.
North End Cycle.
It's like those people who find out they get married and they find photos of themselves at Disneyland as kids, and they're in the background of the photo.
It is.
Losi posted a photo recently, and it was I forget who the main thing in the photo was, but he even said the best part of this photo is Dave Asato in the background. And you look, and it's literally the exact same face. It's just like the smile and stuff. And oh my god, it's crazy.
Oh, that's amazing. So although you said you met in the 10th grade. Even though I know you think you're younger than me, what year is that? Is that 91?
Probably 90, 91 maybe.
So it's not too far
90, 91.
So it's not too far after that you guys had the indoor place, right, in Winnipeg, and you guys both rode. How did you both rode for Basic? At that point, I feel like you guys barely knew each other?
Yeah, when Basic came around, we were good friends already.
Okay.
So we were...
But that's got to be like a year later or something.
No, it was a couple years. Think 90... Basic probably started happening for him in 96.
Wasn't Basic around during the Hoffman contest days? Chicago and all that?
What?
Yeah.
Those have been early... That'd have been 93, 94, 95.
No.
Because X Games starts in 95, and that's it with the contest.
Yeah, maybe 95. But I don't know what year. Because he was on the Basic at Chicago and Oklahoma. What year was the Oklahoma comp?
94.
90,
the one that
93, 94.
Okay, so 90. Probably 94 then, yeah.
Because did he ride for Basic when he turned pro in 94?
Me?
No, him. He was on the 94.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Yeah.
Oh, is that... No, that was 95.
Yeah.
Was that his first pro contest?
Yeah. So, okay,
Oklahoma,
95.
yeah.
But so you guys, at some point, rode a lot together and somehow got on.
Every day.
Is this the...
How does Basic happen?
Oh, yeah, that's
the indoor part.
The indoor part.
We had We had an indoor before this one.
Oh, okay.
We don't really have. I actually do have the tape I got for Stu. There is some footage of Asado and me at the park before this, and the other one was just an old fire hall. So the skate park was as big as 2 fire engines would, and they crammed so much crap into there, and we didn't have a spine or anything, but there wasn't really room to put a deck on the quarter pipe, so we had a 6-foot quarter pipe with just coping. So we learned all the spine shit. We didn't know how to go over spine, but we could do all the overback stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's what I had written down because you guys were masters at the over tricks, and it was no decks.
That was all originally, because we had that quarter
no
pipe.
room for decks.
Yeah. So, that was pretty
How
funny.
cold did it get in there during the wintertime?
It was,
We'll just play this footage just for the nostalgia
they
aspect.
got heat in there, but I mean, things like that, I don't even think were registering to me at the bar. I just knew it was warmer in there than it was outside. Right? So, that's the edge. It was run by a church organization, so it'd be a little weird sometimes.
Didn't you have to listen to a sermon?
Yeah, you
before
do.
went?
Wednesdays would be God talk, so you had to sit through a sermon.
Yeah.
And then, but that was just another factor. And I mean, you just think about what you're gonna do after God talk's done.
So who's chasing after who at any point? Like, is it who is older? Is Asado older than you?
We're the same age.
Same
exact age.
All right.
Yeah, I'm May and he's December, but we're the same year.
Oh, okay.
So
That make Jason older.
yeah, well, technically, yes, suppose, but at this age, I don't know if that matters.
Yeah.
We had different styles for sure, especially growing up. Like Dave was I was more like street guy, like Dirt Brothers and all that stuff was what I was into, and like he was just kind of, I don't know what he was into. Honestly,
He was flatlanding too at that time.
He was flatland. He flatlanded well into, like, he was still entering flatland contests and X Games and stuff. So he was flatlanding, and he'd be like, "Oh, you want to go flatland?" I'm like, no, this is stupid, So yeah, but
Shout out to Flatland.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's cool. It's definitely cool, but it wasn't my jam. So.
Yeah, I understand.
But I think
Just for those people.
yeah, I don't know if it was ever necessarily like chasing each other, but we definitely fed off each other. You know, so
How did Basic come out? Like, did Basic just all of a sudden show up? I mean, I know the story of Basic, just for the kids who didn't know, is I think Molinterno couldn't afford a batch of bikes.
I don't know the standard side of it. What the logistics of the angle of how Basic came to the bikes, but yeah, they got a bunch of standards that were supposed to be standards. And, both sides tell a different story about how that came about. So I don't know what the truth is there, but yeah, they got those standards and just restickered them, and
because they're basically standards.
Yeah, and I had bought a standard when they first come out. I went to Lake Owen B3, and that's the frame. All the guys were riding the frames. I was just like, I called Albies, I think, almost every day after that to see if they're in stock. And then when they finally did, I got one, so I was riding that. And then when Basic came around, I just changed my stickers and I was on Basic. So like my first sponsor me package was just
sticker pack.
Who's behind Basic?
Cecil and Darcy. Darcy
okay.
eventually went on to do all the McNeil stuff.
I can spell his last name in my head, but I can't say it.
Yeah.
How do you say it these
Sakuchi.
days? Sakuchi.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That was one of my favorite segments of this, was when Todd was reading the
cop
diary
card.
entry from that day.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
just incredible.
Too good.
Oh, from the police day.
Yeah.
Scrap in Chicago.
Yeah.
And so Basic, they had frames, they had bars. They took the pegs and then they just drilled holes in them.
Yeah.
Silencers.
Yeah, they were grenade pegs, right? Is that
Yeah. But they did end up starting manufacturing all stuff in Canada, which was at the time, even now, would be, I don't think any, I'm sure there's Canadian companies doing that, but at the time, that was, I mean, you identify with that. So being from Canada,
It's cool.
that bike brand from there. And
Would you ride the Sluggo or the Big City?
I never rode the
Bastard?
Sluggo. I only rode the Big City Bastard, so never rode the Sluggo.
Did being on Basic feel like, we've made this is
Oh,
like
yeah.
an American company?
Oh, yeah.
This is a big deal.
Well, for the aspect of making it, it didn't matter where the company was from. You're like, we made it, like we're doing it. And that's kind of how, like, when things started happening for Dave, and then he's like toying with moving to the West Coast, and I was like, well, I mean, if you're going, I'm going. Like, I'm not staying here without you. So if he's doing it, I'm doing it. And that was just basically when the Schwinn thing happened for him. He's like, I'm moving to Vancouver, and I just jumped in the car with him. That was it.
And did you guys live together, or did you just?
Yeah, we lived at the Basic House for a while together, and then I'd kind of run out of money and go back home, regroup, come back with money, stay another couple months, and do that till
Was Andrew at that house?
Yeah,
First?
Andrew lived
Is
at the
that how
house.
you guys met him through Basic?
Yeah. I met Andrew the first
Ferris,
year.
right?
Yeah,
Yes,
Andrew
yeah,
Ferris. The first, I think there was an indoor skate park in Nelson, BC, and we went to that in 1993. We drove up from Winnipeg, and I met Andrew there. So, and he was from Saskatoon, which was closer to Winnipeg, but it was just like everyone in Western Canada was at that contest. So,
Is the Basic House in Vancouver? Like, what is that? How is those scenes different, or like
compared to Winnipeg, or we had a scene in Winnipeg, but it just felt like, Vancouver it didn't snow, first of all, and like you didn't have winter, so we were like, this is the most incredible place on the face of the planet. It comes from Winnipeg.
And there was already skate parks.
Yeah, well, when we first moved there wasn't.
Even like White Rock and all that stuff?
White Rock Bowl was there.
And what the one?
Sealand was there.
Sealand,
just the
yeah.
snake runs, but as far as other cement parks, there was no other parks yet. So we were just kind of riding street.
For that.
Well, you need a new phone in general.
I need a new phone because they're supposed to get really expensive
Yes,
according to
they
tariffs or
are.
something.
Yeah.
So might as well do that now.
Well, so a few months ago, I met a dude named John Rokos at that freestyle book premiere up in Orange County. Lifetime rider, worked at Woodward for years, was on the cover of Plus even. He left Woodward, went to Tesla in the early days. John sends me this open case, and I literally have been in love with it. I've had it for about 2 months. It's a high-end phone case, so it has metal buttons, it has a metal surround of the camera lenses, which is super cool. And then it has this recess your wallet just clicks right into using the magnets that are built into your phone.
So that's wallet and phone now.
Wallet and phone. Like 10 years ago, I had a similar setup, not as sleek as this, but I ended up losing everything. But, like the Find My iPhone didn't exist and stuff like that. So now that it's together, it's like, it really has been super nice. And obviously
you can lose it and keep track of your wallet nowadays.
Exactly. So I added a couple of cards to my phone, and then I just carry 2 cards in there. That's all I have. I have an ID and 1 credit card. And just super minimalistic. It fits 3 cards. It could be a standalone wallet. You just snap this thing out, put it in your car, and it comes across as like, when you have a different phone case and it has the magnet in there, it feels heavier. So the first time I started using this, it felt smaller, lighter, higher quality, and I truly have been a huge fan of this thing since.
What about for someone like me who likes to ride with their phone in their pocket? Could you ditch the wallet and just have like a...
Yeah, so it comes with, you can buy slugs, you can buy the little pop socket thing, and it does work with like Apple Wallet. So if you have one of those already, it works with, the wireless chargers. The cool thing about it is the cutout creates a lip. Nothing moves around at all. Any of the accessories are really locked in. So super cool thing. I always enjoy when, you get a rider and they're doing something really, really cool outside of BMX. So shout out to him. Shout out to OpenCase. If you want to check them out and you want to support, head over to theopencase.com. You can do the code Unclicked for 10% off. You go ahead and support a lifelong BMXer doing cool shit. We appreciate them. So check them out.
Sweet. I'm excited to get a new phone and try one of those things.
Yeah, and they don't work for iPhone 6s like Dennis has.
This is like a 7 or something. Hell yeah, that's awesome.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
Back to the podcast.
How long after you guys were in the Basic House did Dave start riding for Schwinn, just timeline wise? Because it had to be pretty quick.
It was pretty quick, yeah. Like,
95, 96?
Yeah, because I think Dave, I feel like maybe the second Chicago, he might have already been on Schwinn, or it happened for him at that point. Because like even his props interview, he's on.
Yeah, it goes back and forth.
Back and forth, the clips of the Basic and the
so
Schwinn.
Andrew got on Schwinn.
Andrew was probably on Schwinn a little bit later.
So Pova hated you. So everyone at the house is on Schwinn except you.
Yeah, well, yeah, at one point, yeah, it was. And but
because Maron lived there too. Right?
Maron lived there. This was like we were already out of the Basic House.
It's a Schwinn house.
Yeah, it was a Schwinn house basically, and that's when Jay was starting up 10-pack and they were building the ramp and everything.
And you had to go to Boston Pizza. One of these guys.
I'd go to Boston
Schwinn
Pizza
checks.
every day. Yeah, so these guys are just making. I mean,
so much money.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to bum any of the kids out nowadays.
Tell them
exactly what they're making, but they're making good money, and at that time,
over 10 grand a month Canadian.
And at the time,
10 each.
Yeah, look at his face.
I think Dave was like 8.
Yeah, but 8 American.
But
yeah,
so
and then
when
that transfer rate, so he was like.
So when we were all in that era, so say you got a check for 100 American, it would turn into 150 Canadian.
Yeah.
So now when you're talking 5 figures and turning that into, half in that. But then you're going and winning gravity games and getting a win med. So yeah, these guys, I'm the only one going to work at this point, right? So it sucked. And like my routine was, I'd wake up, I had about 40-minute walk to work because they wouldn't let me put my bike inside and it's raining all the time. 40-minute walk to work. I work
In the rain.
And then I'd come
Uphill both ways.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
It was quite an incline.
But I'm like, at this point, I'm not in Winnipeg, right? So I'm like, this is fucking sweet.
Yeah.
So I'm going to work. I'd come home. I'd go straight to bed. I'd sleep. Maybe I'd get home at 3. I'd sleep till 6 or something. Then we'd go ride the ramp. And we'd ride the ramp till like 10, 11, and then we'd go out.
Which ramp is this?
The 10-pack.
10-pack.
Yeah, the indoor mini, 6 foot. The 6 foot's fine. Then we'd go out and party. I'd come home and sleep about an hour or 2, walk to work, and do it all again.
And you're still on basic.
At this point, basic was defunct at this point.
Okay.
And I just got
Free agent.
on Kink.
So this is what year is that, you think?
98.
So you're already on Etnies then?
Yeah, through Canada.
Through Canada.
Yeah.
So I didn't put you on Etnies America. Mm-hmm. I did or didn't? Mm-hmm. But it was through Canada. It was through what was the name of it?
Time Bomb.
Time Bomb. Yeah.
I think that's when I came down, I first met you, and then they were going to do the Duff's volume team deal.
Is that where you were in the hot tub?
Yeah. We were. I feel like you told enough of that story. We don't need to go. We don't need to go any specifics.
I cut a lot of it out.
I don't know that
I cut a lot of it out, Jason.
We don't need to go any specifics on that story per se, but I mean, relatively truthful. So
Yeah.
Which podcast is that in?
Brian's.
All right.
So yeah, I think. But then I was like, I didn't want to do the Duff's thing, and then I talked to you, and then I think someone at Etnies worked it out with Time Bomb to put me on.
It's probably Don.
Yeah, and then they were going to split
The paychecks.
my paycheck for a year, and then after that, I would go direct
let her
right to
off.
Etnies.
Okay, so you're making a little bit of money off
A little
that.
bit, yeah,
Got
a
it.
little bit.
The dog
So,
is there.
and like at that point, I'm still working, and that money is just kind of supplementing going to work. So
Because I remember when you were on Boston,
Yeah.
when you wrote, it was
Yeah.
when you worked.
yeah, I worked out like 3 years, I think.
Yeah. Oh,
They kept trying to promote me and stuff, but I was like, I had my routine so set that I'm like, no, I gotta be here at 7 and be gone by 3 because we ride at 5 and then I party till late. Do it all again. So
Can you explain the dynamic in the house? Like if you have Miron,
it was
Ferris is making
higher.
probably is Ferris making $8,000 too for
I bet
riding
it was lower.
it wasn't.
It's probably still really good.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't
For a
8, but it was.
Flatlander.
It was
it's
a
a
lot.
Flatlander, man.
Yeah, I mean ballpark of 5, I would think.
Yeah.
So.
So-
but then he's got Fresh Jive. He's making money from Jenko and all these other.
Oh yeah, tell that one how he
Which one?
Jenko, he didn't know what it was. And he signed up for it, and then he gets this box. And goddamn raver shit.
Yeah. The clothes are so bad, but at that point, like you're just like, take the money, So if you saved them all, you make a fortune selling them now.
Oh,
right.
I know.
Yeah.
I think Aryeh wears them.
I think Todd Lyons is still
it
wearing
started. Aryeh wore him as a joke, and then it's turned into a real joke.
Yeah. So like why are you guys? I mean, you guys are just. I don't know. Like you have your buddies with Dave, and then you guys move over, and then he's making.
How'd you guys meet Jay?
6 figures in this house. I feel like it's like a lifestyle
Yeah.
adjustment.
Oh,
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah, it was like. Well, we all end up in Vancouver. Basically, Vancouver was the California, Canada, right? So, and that's kind of where Basic was there. So, we moved there, and then Jay was living in California at the time, and he's like, "I'm going to move to Vancouver and do his thing." He was going to do.
because he was at was he at McKinney's?
He was in Huntington.
Yeah.
Was it Huntington? Oh, lived
Yeah.
with Todd.
Yeah.
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 So he I think he had just had shoulder surgery or was waiting for surgery, and then he came up there, and then the Basic House fell apart, and then they're like, "We're going to get a house," and that I just fell into that group. So
Did you know Jay before that?
He's
Thunder Bay, right?
I met him come through Canada on Wilkerson tour in 1990.
Was he on? He rode
Yeah.
Wilkerson?
Oh my God, yeah. They came. I think it was Wilkerson Airlines tour. They came through him in 90 and 91. I'm not sure, but he was on a Hutch Trickstar still. He didn't even have the bike, and they just had the 8-foot quarter pipe that just flipped down, and he finished every show with 900.
In 90.
Yeah, and I'm like,
damn.
I think they did 3 shows that day, and he finished every show with 900 first try.
Like a bike shop parking lot.
And then I got him to sign my shirt. I had a tour shirt, so when the tours would come through, I'd get everyone's name, and I had his name on there. When we moved into the house, I'm like, "You signed my shirt," and then he's like, "Oh, he's like, I signed in '90 with the smiley face. He knew what year it was and everything."
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, it was super cool.
So when you're in this house, and then how did the kink thing come about?
Well, Basic kind of fell apart, so that was kind of went out of business basically.
Yeah, short-lived, right?
Yeah. It was fast and furious, and then I think they tried to scale up too fast and did some. Doesn't matter, it's gone. But then I was like, I don't know how Kink exactly came out. I think Jay was starting the distribution, 10 back up north. It was a mail order and distribution. I think they were doing Kink, and Paul B was riding for Kink at the time too. And I think some kind of connection through that. But then, I was so pumped, and then I got the bike, and I was like,
Damn, I love this PS head too.
I was like, it was the first time I got,
Revision, is it a revision?
you're still so pumped to be getting a free bike, and I pulled out of the box, and I was like,
It's a pork.
"What is this?"
Oh, man.
It was so bad. Like the rear stays are so steep, right? So when the brakes would want to, instead of braking, they'd
Pull this
you'd
way.
want to pull off the mounts.
Yeah.
So I had to have a Sato he welded all this crap on so the brakes were better and stuff.
Brake braces.
Yeah. I had like,
He's like, I got a killer Kuahara you can use.
It was crazy. So and then I'm on Kink, and then that's how I got on Road Fools, because they were sponsoring 3, and then he's like, you want to go on this trip?
And you didn't know anyone.
I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
Before that, you were going down
Try
to do the B3 contest.
Yeah.
So who was sending you to those?
I would get myself there, but it's
I remember you went
I
to the
just
Seal
stayed.
Beach one.
I would wherever the Schwinn guys went, I'd go. Because if I could get myself there, I had room. I'd just go to the comp back and forth with them. And
Because I want to say I met you at Seal Beach B3. That's right. It must have been 96 or
Yeah.
97 or something, right?
we came out to that one. We were doing shows North Battleford, Saskatchewan, like way up north, and then we're like, finished the show, we're driving to California for the comp. We drove all the way there, and I missed amateur by like 2 hours. So I was like, I didn't even end up getting a ride, but I ended up.
You didn't ride the course at all?
I didn't ride the comp. I rode the course,
Okay.
and those clips ended up in Baco 6.
Okay.
I think
I
it
remember
was.
riding the
and
spine.
that's when I felt like I really made it. Because we grew up on those Bacos, and we're like, these guys in Wisconsin, they're doing kind of like us. But I was like, Baco was a
But
big
gayer.
Baco. Yeah, sometimes. But like Baco was
Do like that one.
Baco was a big deal, at the time. Like,
Dude,
we grew up and we just watch it, and then that's kind of how Dave would just watch it and then learn everything in the video, and then when we ran out of stuff mainly when he ran out of stuff to learn, we started just making stuff up, and that's how a lot of that tech stuff came about.
I feel like Baco at that time, I don't know how to explain it, but it was like you were watching a different world of people. The people were crazy. The tricks were insane.
It felt more, biking in California is awesome and it looked awesome, but now these guys are it was so relatable to us because the landscape looked the same. They were dealing with winter. They're mini ramp dudes.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is it. These guys are doing it.
Whose ramp was it? There's one section where Dave Fryman says it's a backyard
His
mini.
backyard that he
Yeah.
built.
A mini spine. And it's
Yeah.
just like, what is happening?
I know.
Because
I have it playing, so
Yeah.
if you guys.
But that's not it.
No,
Yeah,
I
this
know,
is early. This is early, yeah. But this is
Is that Sandy Carson?
Sandy. But me and Asada, we had just met at each other's house and watched these videos over and over and over again.
Skip to where Dave Fryman just riding his backyard. It's like in the
Yeah.
woods.
Right there,
A little
yeah.
bit. And it's just... back then you didn't even have a spine, and then he was just doing everything you'd ever could think of.
There's a couple when you go
And then
back.
there was someone flatlanding in
When
a
you
dress.
go back and really watch all the clips, there's still some clips that you've never seen anyone do again.
Yeah. Like Dave Fryman to me is one of the most underrated bike
Yeah,
riders to
I
ever
agree.
touch a bike.
he was my god
Oh, here we
forever.
go. Me too.
Joe
Oh,
Horvath.
Joe Hurlburt. But
I got to pick I used to sweat Primus so hard, and then when we went to
here we go. Look at that.
yeah. Look at that
Back
rocket
peg
ice
bar.
bar. Yeah.
Look at this. Yeah, I mean Dave. I don't know. I think he's one of my favorite riders.
Yeah.
Definitely top 5 for me of dudes ever to touch
So
a bike.
he was when we
One of my favorite people as well.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
really
yeah.
is.
I get
He's-
a phone call once a month.
Yeah.
It's- I get stoked.
Yeah, so we just watched these Fryman was my.
Look at that! Look
I
at
know.
that! Look at that! And like people are like, yeah, so what?
That's so
hard.
dangerous. So dangerous.
So dangerous.
But like, yeah, I idolized him. And then when we went to South Padre Island, he was there, and that was the first time I see him in real life. And I was like, oh my God, he's here. But I didn't talk to him. But I got a picture with his bike because I'm like, I have to get a picture with the bike. I still have the pic too. It's amazing. It's just me like a poor boy, just like touching the handlebars.
Didn't you guys drive down in a pickup truck? 3 of you in the front or something?
Yeah, we did. Well, we had a van on the way down, so it was. I think it's like 48 hours from Vancouver.
Look at that.
Vancouver. Yeah, was that the
Half bar spin.
Yeah,
369.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like
I like to watch Dave all day.
we spent more time in the car than we did at the contest. And then the ride home, it was 4 of us in a 2-door Ford Probe. And it was like,
You, Asado?
no, it was me, Andrew Ferris, Jason Brown, and his girlfriend at the time.
Wow.
And it was just
Oh, because Asado got flown there.
yeah, so
Yeah, he's big time.
Yeah, he's big time already.
Yeah.
So
That's where he did a bunny hop whip in on vert.
Yeah.
Oh.
Are you going to do the Castillo treatment on this podcast?
that? What's that?
With all the clips and all
I
that
don't have the time.
animations?
I don't like Jason that much either.
Taj
I
said-
would honestly, if I had extra 50 hours to do that, yeah, I would.
Did you
Yeah,
ask
right.
Taj to do mine?
Oh yeah, Taj is gonna animate
Did you
the
ask
whole
him?
thing.
He might do it for me.
He might do it for you.
You better tell a good story.
Yeah.
A side note,
animating.
Taj said that he might be ready to do Unclicked as well too. Just so you know.
Oh, he's gonna tell a great story because he's gonna tell who he hated the most on Road Fool.
No.
So that comes later,
not
guys.
talking about
No, it'll come later, guys. It's a cliffhanger for later. Stick around.
Couple more.
Couple more downs and
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
get a little edgy maybe.
So with Kink and you have Etnies split and all that stuff, are you like a full-time professional
No,
bike rider?
no. I'm still going to Boston Pizza this time. And then
He just quit last week at Boston Pizza.
I didn't know they had a
might be-
Fernville. What was it?
Ferndale.
Ferndale.
might be
branch.
back sooner than later.
Cactus chips.
Yeah, so I'm still going to work and doing all that. And so, but Kink's asking me like, oh, do you want? They're trying to send me places, but I'm also like, I don't have any money. You know,
Yeah.
I can't take a month off work. So then I ended up on a 3-month road trip through Kink. I was like, he got me to all the comps. I stayed with Bennett. We did Road Fools. We did so I was like, and that's when I ended up quitting. But I didn't quit. My bosses were super cool. I was like, hey, I'm going to be gone for 3 months. Is that cool? And they're like, yeah. And then that turned into that. I ended up getting on volume during that. And then
How'd that come about?
Well, how many years on Kink? Just for my.
It's 90. It was short, 98
Short,
to
yeah.
2000 maybe.
Yeah.
So before the Revision B, everyone thinks I was on the. I never rode the Revision.
I thought you were. I thought that was.
No, it was
Yeah,
the Empire. I never rode. I never rode the
Empire.
Revision, so
Oh,
it was
okay.
the original Empire.
Mark that down in your
But
book.
But it was
I mean,
PS Head too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
All right.
Yeah.
Were they all Pierce Hair Ted?
Most people think Revision B was the first frame, but the Empire came before. The Revision was the
Was the
better
Revision?
was the better version.
It's
if
the
you
name,
can believe
the
that.
Revision.
If you can believe that, that was like.
How was that time on the road with the Kink team? Who
It
were
was
you
good.
with?
It wasn't even on a team. I was basically the team.
Oh,
And I think Solinsky was on, so I met Solinsky. Zach just flew me to Buffalo, and Solinsky picked me. I never met him, and then we just drove to Virginia Beach, the contest, me and Solinsky in a car together.
What year is that?
God, what?
like Dave Young. Dave Young is on at this point, but he's
That would have been
no?
98,
Oh,
98
wow.
end of 98.
Yeah.
Was that
Yeah. So yeah, none of those guys were on yet. So I was I think I was their first guy when they started doing frames.
Oh, crazy.
So
That's pretty wild.
I mean, I take a little bit of credit for where they're at now. But
Basically, you were the team.
Yeah.
yeah, at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was meeting Solinsky?
It was good. I mean, at that time, anything that involved biking was awesome, right? So, but it's just like two guys in a car shooting the shit for never met each other. But
Like, I guess, how's your, you said you were always a bit street, but Asado to me was always straight, just ramps.
Yeah.
Of course he
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
tail up down some stairs or do some stuff if he wanted it
Yeah.
to, but you seem to have a really, really solid
yeah,
mix.
he would always be out too.
Yeah.
He looking at old tapes. We're just cruising around the city doing the same thing. But I think I identified with the street more, and he was just riding. You know what I mean? I don't think he had.
Who were big street influences for you?
For me, Dave Clymer, Dirt Brothers, those guys at the time, Vic Murphy, obviously, Dirt Brothers, Hicks in Action was my original Bible. When that came out, that Social D song comes on, the opening montage, still not old. I pop that in every once in a while. Need a little pick me up.
All right. Yeah. I mean, so where do we go from here? Kink
Well, I
and
just want, like,
oh, go ahead.
So you said you didn't know anyone flying into road fools, and then you just show up, and then
Yeah.
who did you connect with the most on that trip? Or-
Me, Bennett was probably my best.
Yeah.
But like that was my theory. They're like, oh, Silent Shredder, and like I was going in. I'm like, I don't know anybody, but I know everybody.
Which
I know who
yeah,
they
yeah,
are,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Fools 3.
So I was like, if you don't say anything, you can't say anything stupid. So I was
Except on Halloween night.
yeah. So I was like a little loose on Halloween, but until then, it was just strictly like, put your head down and ride, and don't say anything dumb or.
And what'd you do on Halloween? What happened on Halloween?
We just party, cruise
He
around.
was dressed up
North,
he was the Hessian.
yeah, North Carolina.
And he was just
that was a wild
doing
party.
air guitar on cars and
That was.
going nuts.
Did this like Road Fools open up doors for you? I feel like
Yeah,
like,
I think
this,
so.
Was like
Yeah, I think, like, this probably Road Fools is what ended up like
there you go.
There it is.
getting me on volume.
Okay.
You know, like where
Was Bennett already on volume?
no Bennett was still S&M.
Yeah, he was us.
I think Arteline made the connection between me and Brian. So I knew Arteline from somewhere before that, and then he.
So you didn't know Brian beforehand?
No, not at all.
Okay.
The only time I met Brian before that is when I was with you, and we went down to the riverbed, and he was shooting the cover with the rail.
Oh, we were there that day?
We stopped there, and he was pretty not happy.
Oh,
that-
yeah.
Just watching him from
that could have
afar.
been last weekend.
Yeah, that,
The
I was going to
audience.
say
Still not.
that could have easily been another story where I'd take
Yeah.
the kid and get out of here.
Yeah. Take the Canadian and go.
So, but I mean, understandably, it was a stressful
Yeah.
situation there.
Yeah.
So then
those fucking things.
on Road Fools, how did Little Devil kind of happen right at that time too, right?
But I think I was on Little Devil before Road Fools, but I think I just cold called Little Devil.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Sponsor me.
So
Yeah.
it was your choice?
Yeah. Like, because Rob Siggety was getting some stuff at the. So Rob
Fucking Hurley over here.
Well, Little Devil to me, like from the West Coast,
Yeah.
it just seemed like a little kid's brand. Like
Yeah.
Little Devil.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
it had a little graphic. It
yeah,
looked like a little
not-
kid's brand
not,
to me.
Not like playing Loco.
No. Yeah. Hey, we're working on it.
Yeah.
So for me back then, it just seemed like, because so far, it's like standard to the West Coast.
Yeah.
It was like, it didn't have the impact, right?
I get that.
I think like,
Little Devil for me at least.
also
I
didn't
grew up.
know.
I grew up
But it
in
was
San
all-
Diego. It transcended that for
Yeah.
me.
But
you know,
that was later.
like-
That was
yeah,
much later.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Rob Siggety was getting stuff, and then I was like, oh, it's pretty cool.
Siggety.
And he just gave me a number. He's like, yeah, the guy that runs it's named Derek. And I just dialed him up, and I was like, hey, man, give me some stuff.
Derek's cool.
And then he's like, I think he was like pretty apprehensive, but he did send me a couple things. And then I don't think I was officially on Little Devil for Road Fools, but I think that's what.
Were you wearing a thing?
Bridge,
or two?
oh yeah, I was
Yeah.
running the stickers and everything. Like you wanted to look so hooked up at that point. Can't show.
And that was back when Plus would Photoshop those out of your photos.
I had a Plus full page, and they
Photoshop the
they
word
photosh-
devil out.
They photoshopped the
Yeah,
little devil stuff.
no photo contingency on those ones.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, you killed that last session at Changa.
Yeah, that park was really fun. That was like one of those places you've seen, and then when you're there,
Should I
it's
go
just
back? Yeah.
There you go. I never got to ride Changa.
It says Shuji.
Shuji.
You seen Suji now?
Yeah, he's
He's like the fittest
Oh.
man in Japan.
Yeah, you can like rock climb walls and stuff.
He's in Australia now.
He's lived there for like a long time.
He has?
That was Stu correcting the fact checking.
I saw him in Japan like 8 years ago or something like that. So
So he lives in Australia.
Yeah, unless he moved again, but he was there for a while.
He's the fittest Japanese man in Australia.
Yeah.
Sorry.
super
So
successful.
yeah, this is probably how, because Arlene was on this trip, so that's what he would have made the connection with me and Brian.
Okay.
And did you get on before there was any available frames or anything like that?
Volume, no, I'd got on. The Hellions are already out.
Okay.
So I had got a Hellion right before Road Fools 4. I was staying at Bennett's house, and we were chasing the bike around, the UPS guy. Like, we missed them, so we're driving around looking for the truck for the bike. But
Oh.
Explain these like trips for me, for like somebody who only watched them, was like getting like I always heard like, all right, you do the ice, I'll do the
Yeah.
feeble. Like
I think-
how is it
I
getting
think
blitz?
later
Is it a
on that
battle?
would be the case, but at this point, we're just riding.
Yeah.
Everyone
like,
grinded the same
We're
rail.
basically, we came in and we're like skate park, and we would just ride, and they'd point the camera at it. So
Okay. Yeah.
it was really organic. At the
No,
time,
there
for
was
sure.
nobody that was like rushing to get the
No,
get the shine. Or
I don't
something.
think on this one.
That wasn't
Yeah.
a thing.
No, that wasn't until
Yeah.
Yeah.
came in.
Yeah, that you'll see multiple clips where we're like, oh, handrail, and
Everyone
five
grinds
of
it.
us will line up and everyone grinds it. You know,
Yeah.
just goes, yeah, it's pretty good.
Is Eugene there? I haven't seen this in so long.
Oh my God.
That's a funny looking skateboard.
So all the
Ahead of his time.
all the footage in Nowhere Fast, you're on a Kink in that.
That was supposed to be.
That was for a Kink video.
That was
right?
that was my first trip to California, and Zach had flew me out. We were going to start working on a Kink video, and he's like, "You're going to meet up with this guy Dave Perrick, and you'll film for the Kink video."
He hired Dave Perrick to film.
To
Oh,
film,
wow.
yeah. So all my clips in Nowhere Fast were originally supposed to be for Kink video.
Then was Zach okay with that, or was it?
I think-
was Dave supposed to make the entire video?
That was my understanding at the time.
It's still coming out.
And you were
But-
the only rider, right?
But-
So what a video.
yeah,
would
but
have
I'm sure they had a lot of flow dudes and stuff.
yeah.
But
Jason doesn't bother with those people.
but I think by the time I was nothing ever happened with those clips, and then I was already on volume. So
Were you on volume when Nowhere Fast came out?
yeah,
Okay.
And this is mostly San Diego.
yeah.
right?
Except for,
Oh, yeah.
Irvine. Except for Irvine.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's
I
Southern
can-
California.
Yeah.
I consider that San Diego.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, the whole parts are UCI basically.
Yeah,
Look at those knee pads.
I know, right?
Except for the metal skateboard.
Oh, you barely got on there.
You don't need to tell me. I lived it.
Dude, I remember.
Oh, that was my favorite
We
part.
had some fun sessions.
Yeah,
in
that was my
part.
favorite. I think this is. We might have met at this. Like
We're-
actually met at this session.
Yeah, like Matt. Yeah,
Yeah.
so because I think I have clips from that in Nowhere Fast.
Yeah.
That was the other day when you nose picked the
Oh,
top
really?
of the wall. Yeah.
And this is right by Brian's house, right?
Yeah, I'm already on a destroyer prototype there.
Escondido Park.
Yeah. This was the night after the hot tub, so I was still riding a high.
I may need a refresher on the hot tub
I don't know
story.
what the hot tub is.
You guys can see it on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Castillo
watch
podcast. Go ahead and
again.
watch it again. Look at that giver.
That didn't matter back then.
Oh, I know. I have plenty of them. How long, when you were filming this with Dave, you were living where?
Vancouver.
You were living in Vancouver.
Yeah.
So you, how many actual sessions did you film at this in?
Well, I bet most of this stuff, all the daytime stuff, would have been the same day,
Jeez.
like at UCI. Yeah.
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 I mean that looks like one session.
Is that
Yeah.
Sean Emery?
Yeah.
Yeah,
looked
I mean
like a couple
it looked
days.
it looked like 4 sessions,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
So you
if
filmed the whole
think
part in
about
a few days.
Yeah. Well, I think I was only originally supposed to be down for a week, so.
But you didn't come down multiple times
No,
to film.
no.
What, Dave didn't
But,
send you down?
Yeah, whatever. Like, all the Kink stuff would have been that first trip, and then there's some volume clips in there, and then I was coming
okay.
down for volume stuff.
And then when you got on volume, how many years did you live in Vancouver on volume?
I was volume late '99, I think. And I lived in Vancouver to 2008.
Oh, so a long time. Half your career on volume is
Yeah.
in Vancouver. And did you came down a lot though?
Yeah.
Right? 'Cause I feel like we rode a lot,
Mostly
you know?
winter, and then we'd try and me and Brian would come up a few times, and we did a few trips up to Vancouver in the summer.
Do you have a full part in this Heroes and Madmen?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I used to watch this video all the time.
Then we did that. We drove up though, right? On one trip?
Yeah.
Meet with Losi.
Cement Park tour, yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like that's, yeah.
98.
I never got this one.
It has a dude. It's
Like
a
it
dude
didn't make
ri-
sense
the-
to you?
No,
Or-
no, I never got.
Oh, that part.
I never
Yeah.
got the actual video.
Which part
I never
is this?
understood what you were
This is the edge. This is the edge, then, right?
Yeah, this is the edge, yeah.
Where was the igloo?
The igloo was in Vancouver.
And that was
Years later.
That was years later,
Okay.
yeah. That was Dave's deal for a long time. Like Dave got that building set up, and that's when.
Oh, Winnipeg, I've ridden
yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny how many people end up in that town.
I love Winnipeg.
It's fun in the summer, right?
Dude, I had a blast there. Everyone just drinking 2-liter sodas in the hottest heat. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there a story behind your whips? I feel like your whips are
Like top 10 in
Yeah.
BMX. Easy.
I don't think there's a story. I think
were they were they difficult for you to learn? I always feel like the best ones were like the ones where you're like, you know, like Todd
Yeah.
describes, like is a grab bag.
I'm like, I go in front of the seat, and a lot of people don't go in front of the seat, and I think that's
What do you mean you go in front of the seat?
like with my
like feet over the top too.
yeah.
Oh, instead of behind it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that changes the look a little bit, but I never.
I never thought about that.
And everyone thinks they're down, like they're,
Yeah.
you do them the wrong way. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
they-
But I didn't like the way my straight whips look, so I only really just started doing downside whips because I thought they just looked. You just got in a better position,
Because your
know.
whip's
Yeah,
kind of paused
that's
at
going-
270
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah. That's the frame.
It's the last. It's just like that last 90 just takes a
Yeah.
little while to come. Oh, look at that.
Simpler times.
Ooh. Did you, when you rode mini ramps with everyone, did you feel
That
like a mini ramp rider,
Yeah.
or did you feel like a street rider?
What was the question? Sorry.
Did you feel like a ramp rider or a street rider? That was right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That rode ramps or
Yeah, no, I would probably always still kind of relate more to street and feel like I was doing street tricks on the mini ramp, which is definitely not the case, but
that's what it felt like to you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because there's definitely guys who ride mini ramps
Right.
or mini spine, and it feels like a street. You're
Yeah.
you're treating it like a street obstacle, right? I love that this is not a thing. I didn't know this.
It was I guess that one shows it even better.
Yeah.
Because like
It stops like 270.
yeah,
Yeah, it has that-
and the
that
reach
pause.
in
Yeah.
front of the bike. Huh. That was it.
That's
well,
That's it.
that was
I
way.
saw you do
Talk
one.
about it.
I saw you do
I love that that's not even the last clip either, because that's clearly like should have been the
I
last
saw
clip
you
in the
do
video.
one in
New York.
Rhode Island.
No,
You did- The indoor Rhode Island.
no,
You did a
just
half.
did it-
Just
you
a half
did it
in.
to half at
Yeah.
that one.
Okay.
Riverside Park B3,
Oh,
New York.
Okay. Oh, I got fucking knocked out at that.
Yeah,
one.
Is that why you don't remember?
Maybe. Yeah, I was.
How long did you do
Yeah.
the half in before you started throwing it out, or was that all
I
like
never did. The goal was half in, half out.
really?
So think like the clip you posted on the blue ramps. That was the first one I ever did.
Oh shit.
So earlier that day, I'd got one to half to no footer out, but I just wanted the no footer was just always like something you did if you couldn't do what you wanted to do, right?
Last night I rewatched Nyquist trying it. And it was like 2,700
Yeah.
tries.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
literally
It's
like in the
insane.
300,
Yeah.
400.
I
like,
texted him. I'm
legitimately,
like,
yeah.
dude, you're a machine.
he,
Well-
he called me and he's like, dude, what's the secret? And I'm like, that was like 25 years ago. And I'm like, I have no idea. Literally had no idea how to help you. And he's like, you only ever did it once, right? And I'm like, no, I did it. Like I could.
Contest runs.
Yeah, I had the point. That was in practice. It wasn't in a run or anything, but I was to the point if I wanted to do it, I could probably get it.
Well, I mean, that's 3
Yeah.
documented ones,
Yeah.
right? This is
Yeah.
this is
There's
one,
more.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
2, and
Yeah.
then that was just a third one.
Yeah.
Just fucking 70% of the way through a video part. So, like, he asked, "How did you make the half bar to half out look so easy?" But yet, it mentally destroyed me.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm happy it took him some work.
Yeah,
Like
kinda
that,
would've
but
been a
maybe
bummer.
it would have been a bummer if he just did it and was like,
Yeah.
So that it felt good that he put in some work, and because I honestly thought he'd do it.
Me too.
Like-
Just because he's so good
Yeah.
at everything.
Well,
Yeah,
That's
You
why
know-
it hasn't been done too often.
Yeah.
You know.
That's how you can tell in all. Like there are tricks that have been done. You're like you've never seen it again.
yeah.
And
Well, I
that's
think
why.
I think this one was the birth of like the little trick challenges that I did
Was
because
it?
it was like a way of like paying homage to
Yeah.
like how you see a clip, you're like, wow,
And
that's
I'm like,
pretty crazy. And
I
you're
was
like, all right, but
I was
if you
stoked
did,
it was Nyquist too because
Yeah.
it could have been someone else, and I wouldn't have cared how much work it would have took. I still would have.
yeah.
been
Yeah.
bummed.
It's always better
Yeah,
when it's
yeah,
Nyquist.
yeah.
He makes everything like entertaining in that video. I watched most of that video.
The bike builder.
Yeah, this is the bike builder. Frame is in there.
That's not my bike yet. That's like Corey Walsh mixed with some brakes. Yeah, this is a bunch of people's bike now still.
So steering, you go through the whole thing. Steering. Click
Okay,
through,
wow.
Hit change.
So change. Boom. I got my forks. Add to build. Okay, it's getting closer. Let's do the next thing. Headset. I'm gonna put my bars to Odyssey. Boom, Walsh stem right there. Add to build. This is easy. All right, changing the grips. ODI, soft, long necks. There it is, right there. Boyd Sprocket, the third one on the list. Best cranks in the world. Where are they? Yeah, you could like put your bike together and see how it looks, and like the Thunderbolts. Boom, I love those. Odyssey Super Circuits. Nothing compares. Ooh, it's looking good. Can we raise the seat post up on here? I think that's it. That's my bike.
Yeah.
The seat needs to go a little higher, and the ODI bar ends aren't in there, but that's my bike.
You can build Dennis's bike. You can build any bike you want. They have some templates in there for like an S&M build or
That's
a
crazy.
trail build or anything like that. So Source Bike Builder.
It's crazy. You really watch your bike come to life.
Shout out to Source BMX. Thank you so much for supporting us for a couple years now. Appreciate you guys.
Big time
Love you
supporters
guys.
are the best.
So, thank you. Back to the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any other tricks you guys did back then that you feel like still haven't been done? You've seen you and Dave and
I
Jay.
think like no one's really messed with the overtooth switch hand. And Fryman did the nose pick one, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But he's the only other person I've ever seen. And I feel like there's
Kurt Schmidt, maybe? No? Oh, no, he did Miami Hopper
yeah, he did
bars, which is
Miami Hopper.
nuts, too.
It's
That's the
insane
dopest.
move.
Into a
360
into a ramp.
Yeah.
360 nose pick Miami Hopper
Yeah.
on a spine to
And then
full
flip the
bar
bar.
in.
Yeah. That move is insane.
Yeah.
No, he just did it straight, but not
Yeah.
360.
No, he did 361. I'm almost positive.
I know he did 360.
Oh, maybe that's it.
Just-
Just
yeah.
okay, gotcha.
But
But is there any other ones like you see like even the old Poor Boy video? You got like Dave Overtooth whip and
Yeah,
back,
yeah.
decade ice picks,
Do you
which
throw
you don't
them-
even
do you
see very
throw
often. You
them
know,
when he pops
540
out?
tail whip
Yeah,
decades.
I have footage of Dave doing
Yeah. No, it's crazy.
the decade ice pick in like 92 on a hooligan, just messing around. So that was like, to him, that was just another trick. Like, we kind of got lost in the zone where we're just in Winnipeg and like, you're not even realizing you're good at the time, right? And you're just like riding every day.
Yeah.
And then when Poor Boy came up to film that, he was like, the fuck's going on here? And then you're like, oh, and then
Yeah.
that video hits the stage and people are like, what is going on up
that's
in
the
Canada?
zone.
Like,
What video is this? Just
Poor Boy video,
BMX Men.
BMX Men.
BMX Man.
That's the zone.
Asado's section is,
That's the zone though when you're
Yeah.
just seeing stuff in a magazine.
yeah.
And you're like, oh, these dudes are doing this, and,
that's
then you go home learn it.
That's what I said. But
Yeah.
all that stuff was so you
you
know.
have a part in this too, Rooftop.
I know. I didn't even ride for Poor Boy. He just like came down one time, and this is has the first rail manual in it.
That's me. I got some clips in here too. So this was like,
There you go.
The Asada
Griffin.
The Asada parts. the most-
yeah, the Asado
Yeah, the solder
part.
part is the.
It's
It's the banger.
It's
well,
unreal.
you can't even. It's insane. Stu.
Was that you?
No,
King.
Stu.
Stuart King.
Stu King,
Oh.
yeah. Yeah, and like I said, like we're watching Baco. You get Baco 4, and now you're not getting another Baco for at least a year,
Yeah.
right? So you're watching that every day, and we're at the park every day.
And you're like tooth to bar.
Yeah.
Okay, well
Yeah.
they must be doing
Yeah.
tooth to everything.
yeah.
But you get credit for the 360 half bar on the spine.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Osada really did it first. though.
Sato,
It's gonna be the
it
last
was
part.
it was my like that's when it was my idea, but yeah, his skill
Well,
level
there you go.
obviously.
There you go. Went right
he's,
to
he's
it.
pulling stuff before
Yeah.
me every time.
No, keep going back, and I mean farther forward is Osada
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna show the first rail manual. I was
Well,
gonna
that's
give you a
one of the
little.
first real backwards ones too on a.
I mean,
on
if
a
it
ledge, yeah.
if it was that good,
It's so nuts you prefer feeble.
I know.
Like
right?
that always tripped me
Yeah.
out.
But back then it was a ledge. So you're like, I'm gonna feel because double pegging.
Dude,
ledges
it don't
is
matter.
weird. Double pegging ledges. Is weird.
Oh, claims.
Are those the adjustable love handles?
Those are the
Yeah,
adjustable ones. That's-
Probably.
The foot on the back peg.
I could because I can't bar. I can't pick up bar spin.
There's some wild
All right,
moves
we
in
gotta be
this one.
gotta be
man.
quiet for this one.
Here we go.
I'll turn the audio just so we can.
God.
And like just
See if
classic Asado style already, you know, like we're just kids still here.
Whoa!
That's insane move.
I could definitely just imagine you two being like, "All right, you can do this. I can do this,"
And that's
then-
like
Just feeding off each
yeah,
other.
we
Yeah.
with the ideas, I'd have the idea, and then his ability was way better than mine, and then he would pull it, and then I was like, okay, like it is possible, right? And
Yeah.
then that
Look at
opens
that.
opens the gate.
Right here. Nice. Thank you. Oh, no.
Switch.
That was switch, yeah.
It's not easy.
I've always been envious of like that. You know, give me a 5 foot quarter and I
Yeah.
can do
That's-
77 tricks.
That's what we kind of based that quarter off of. We took a trip to Rampage, and they had that
Phillips?
steep quarter behind the spine, and
Was?
I'm like, that was the best quarter pipe. That's what Winnipeg looks like. And
That's like a nice.
so we were
day.
at that point. We're carving jumps out of snow in his driveway and learning lip tricks on an ice quarter pipe.
Soto he's got to be in the top 3 best bike riders ever, right? I mean, if you look
I
at like,
would-
Well, but if
Yeah.
I think of it like as like dudes who can ride everything, right? If you're
But
only
he-
good at
but
one thing, you
he'd
can't
go to
do
dirt
that.
comps. He never
Yeah.
he rode flat comps.
Flat,
he never
vert.
got last.
Yeah.
Right,
like-
Flat? You ever ride
Yeah.
flat much?
Me? No, never.
you know,
but,
you know what I'm saying? Like it's like you can't
But
be in that conversation.
I'm like, it looked like a bummer because we'd go to the Worlds and Dave, every half hour he has an event, and I'm like, sounds miserable.
can't even drink.
Like, this is terrible.
How are those like I don't know how many modern day events you've gone to, but like they were parties.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, we went to the
Oh, I wish I
Worlds.
would've rode that skateboard.
I went to a couple Worlds, but yeah, it was always a great time. It was in a less
Look at
focused.
that! Look at that!
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a crazy move.
That's where I first met you at the 2000
Yeah,
Worlds
2000s.
in Germany. Where Brian said my flight got in at 8 p.m., but I got in at 8 a.m. Didn't know who to call.
Late.
Look at this.
Sketchy, irregular.
Yeah.
Like at the time, that's
It doesn't
crazy.
matter, yeah.
That's crazy. That's where Mike, you're doing the flip, right?
Half a foot. Right here it is. Right here.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
What a move.
Look at that. That back then was
Then
insane.
you watch people doing the decade challenge now, just for like decade on flat
There you
ground.
go,
People
there it is.
eating shit. Yeah.
That.
You invent that was your
Look at that.
idea,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That was his idea.
Yeah.
And then Dave did it first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As it kind of came about, like I was just watching him,
There you
and
go, Jason.
yeah. So that's like he's doing. Oh,
You're
sorry.
good. You're good.
He's doing.
Oh.
We'll finish this out. Here. This one's crazy. This one doesn't
Oh,
even
yeah.
make sense.
Dude,
So,
no.
Use the bathroom real quick.
Yeah, you're fine.
Look at this.
so
This right here. I
Yeah.
can't. Like, here's the thing is, like, I know people.
Yeah.
You'd be hard pressed to find. No, you couldn't. No pro could do that now.
yeah.
I don't think there's.
I
one
think
that
they
could
could.
do all that.
I
all
think they
that.
could. No, all of it. Yeah,
One
maybe.
dude, I'm saying one
maybe.
dude. I don't know could do all of that.
But yeah, that was kind of all coming about because I'd watch him get into the trick and then he'd jump out, and sometimes you're trying over two stuff, and you jump off, and it's easier to bring the bike. And I was like, just try and stay on like
Yeah.
a minute longer. Then he's like, oh yeah, that kind
For
of
the tail tooth thing.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I'll take credit for it all.
it's
He
coming-
did it first. He obviously did it first, but
But it was my idea.
yeah. But this is at the time too. It's like we don't know other people aren't doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like it would be sick if I just had like infinite amount of money and be like, all right, $5,000 to anybody that can just replicate the
the whole part.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
Like just anybody can find these
And
spots.
look at that bike, man. The C post is like those. Oh my god, that bike! If you rode that now, you ain't doing any of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that.
It would.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I just always thought that it'd be great to do a video on. Just go to all the famous spots. And just do a video called ABD, and just go redo everybody's stuff.
It would be hard though because
It'd be hard.
street spots change.
Well, you know, but I mean, the ones you could, you know?
Yeah, like this.
And to
This
see-
is like you could find that it doesn't
Oh, yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
You
But
know, like
also like a study, like this is way gnarlier
Oh,
even
yeah.
now. Like
Yeah.
you'd be able to judge it, you know.
Yeah, you weren't engaging.
I
what
would.
was-
Yeah.
I feel like somebody like Peraza or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, he put his mind to
Like
it. He
if
really
those-
wanted to do
I mean,
it.
those guys if they put on front and rear brakes and really went in, it would be insanity.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you can't say it wouldn't be. There's no doubt.
Such an interesting like aspect of BMX.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean,
A
you know,
lost
obviously,
aspect.
Yeah.
Well, he like, you know, I'm not obviously. I don't think this isn't like
And we-
Asato filming for the part of his lifetime. These
Yeah.
are just probably his average
And
sessions in a lot of ways.
we're
Everyday
bike
stuff.
we're
Yeah.
bike riding, so we're like, let's go ride the mini ramp, and now the closed, so let's go down the street and grind some rails, and we're not trying to be mini ramp guys
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
So we ended up mini ramp guys by circumstance because 6 months out of the year, that's all you can ride. But,
Yeah, and that's why you never.
Yeah,
there wasn't
I guess
any
that
ramp riders.
explains the street
Yeah,
ramp
yeah,
thing
yeah.
more than anything.
Yeah.
That's like the
Yeah.
sentence
Because
right
that's
there.
why
Yeah.
you didn't have ramp riders in California because it's outside all the time.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah.
I don't think Osato's ever had a video part that was like he filmed for, other than just footage that was just of him.
probably true.
10-pack one.
10-pack,
Okay.
10-pack one, he does some
That
crazy
was-
shit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How were, we kind of went over that? How were those sessions at 10-pack? It must have been insane.
It was insane.
That's the big mini ramp, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's like when they were both on Schwinn, there was a vert ramp in there, 1.2.
Miron had the couple of crazy.
Yeah.
fucking
No footed
things.
toothpick grind
Yeah,
across the whole
and like,
thing.
and
on the
like
sub.
that wasn't like, oh, we'll turn it on because there's someone filming. It was like, I don't want to say training either, but they were running through it.
That's Jay's mentality,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
volume 11 at all
Yep.
times.
Was
Yep.
there a competitive thing going on between those two in those sessions?
I never felt that
Got it.
ever between those two. No, but it's like Jay's doing backward ice pick grind on the sub, that's an insane move.
That's fucked.
And he's just running and runs like Dave 720 in the spine, doing all this shit, and you're like, that's when I was like, I guess I'm more of a street dude.
I'm gonna do the
yeah,
invert now.
yeah. I gotta work. I gotta be over in the corner working on this over here. Like it started getting in perspective where you're like, yeah, we're choosing a lane here. And I'm in the wrong one.
Let me get out of the way.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Too good.
So what then?
I'm gonna grab
Mid
another.
2000s. When did you decide, or what made the move to California? Like, why weren't you doing it earlier?
I just thought Vancouver was awesome, and then it was for a long time. And then the more I came down, and especially coming down in the winter, when you realize like you could just be doing this
Year-round.
all the time, like, and not at the mercy of weather. You can do it when you want to. You can do it when you don't want to. You can do
Yeah.
at home. It's nice out.
You got to do
You
it.
got to do it, right? So that is a blessing and curse at the same time. But I like the idea of being nice all the time. So yeah, the actual move started. I went to Asato's birthday, and we had just moved to the suburbs, and Dave was still in the city. So we went out for his birthday party, and I missed the last bus home. So, and my wife was wearing heels, so I had to piggyback her in the rain. Because we
All the
missed
way
the
back
bus,
to
and
Delta?
she was pissed. But like as close as we could get, and then I was piggybacking her in the rain.
You
I'm like,
walked her all the way back to the Delta?
we got to Surrey, and then
Oh,
I had to
okay.
walk her home from Surrey. But she
How
didn't
far
want
is
to.
that?
It's far. And like I was like, we were walking in the rain. I was piggybacking her. I'm like, this place fucking sucks. I was like, let's go. So, like, there's places where it's not like this,
And how was that with your wife? Like, just going like, we're going to move to another country? Because for you have something there.
Yeah. She was on board. Yeah, I think like the reality of once we got here was harder than she anticipated it would be. But yeah, she was.
It's also California.
Yeah.
Convincing her is
Yeah.
also
Well,
California,
this-
not Nebraska.
This is
something.
what she.
No offense.
She's thinking we're moving to LA, and then we moved to
Riverside.
Corona.
It's kind of
So
like
she's
Nebraska.
like, we're here.
We moved to a dirt parking lot.
There's
like,
horses
we're-
riding down
I'm
the street.
like, we're here.
Especially back then too.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't a Starbucks on every corner.
But you had people here. She had no one. So I'm assuming.
Yeah, I
that
had a network. So.
mentally, that must
Yeah.
have caused a lot of.
Yeah, it's hard,
just-
and like she couldn't work, right? So because she's just piggybacking on my visa at that time, and the only thing I can do for money is bikes. So it was a hard time.
Yeah. Was it hard getting a visa?
It's just paperwork, so it took a long time and money.
One
but
thing that
who
helped
pays
out
for
a
that?
lot is
I paid for it all.
You paid for it all.
Yeah.
the Nora Cup.
Yeah,
That really helped you
Yeah, I
get
was
the
telling
visa.
them. So my immigration lawyer was doing all my paperwork and stuff, and then when Bowen won the Nora Cup, I had pictures of it, like, yeah, I was holding it, and then she texts me, she's like, now is not a time to be humble. She's like, if you have won awards like this Nora Cup, you need to be telling me, and I was like, nah, it's not real. She's like, God damn it.
You didn't. Oh, you should have held on to it.
I know, and then I probably get kicked out now. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Falsifying documents. But yeah, it just we also came in 2008 where the country was in the worst economic.
Yeah.
So now I'm making the same money, but I'm living in Canada, so I'm taking money out of the country. So I mean, it was I don't want to say easy because I didn't do the work. The lawyer did the work, but then took maybe 6 months, and then we were here. So.
I remember you were pretty paranoid too about getting like in trouble, kicked out.
Oh yeah.
Just
Oh
like
yeah.
you said. Like,
yeah, for sure. That's always on the back of your mind. immigrant for sure.
Yeah.
And I
Street
mean,
riding and
yeah,
getting in trouble
Yeah. I mean,
and stuff like that.
it's
Destroying property.
it's dicey. Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be dicey.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my policy of those signs aren't for us didn't go
I
over
mean,
well.
I think, yeah, it was good to be naive at the time, but I'm probably a little smarter now. But.
Yeah. I didn't remember even saying that. And you said that in an interview. And I was like, that is. He had an interview that said, Rooftop showed me that those signs, when you see them, the no trespassing ones, those aren't actually for us.
Oh.
So it made it really easy to go in everywhere. Made the decisions real easy. So you were here in 2008.
2008, we got here 2008 Christmas Day.
Oh, wow.
That
And
was-
how much did that change? How fast was that change for you
Well,
as far as your career goes?
When we left home, the fastest change was when we left home 4 days earlier. It was minus 30, and then
Because you were back. Were you back in?
We were in Winnipeg
You're back in
at the
Winnipeg.
time,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so we did 6 months. We bought a house in Winnipeg that we could rent out and make money from while we were gone, but also if things didn't work out, we had a place to go to. Because the house in Vancouver, we couldn't rent it out for what we owed on it, right? So we bought a house there, lived there 6 months, and then kept that house. But yeah, it was we left December, it was minus 30. And then I think even through North Dakota, we hit like minus 40.
Do you still have that house?
No, it's gone. No, we sold that house to get the Norco house.
Oh, okay, got it. Wild.
Norco is down here,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so
Yeah.
you bought the house pretty
Yep.
quick, all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, 2000, yeah, I was in Heath sold place in Corona for a few years, and then
That won't work seamlessly. We moved
yeah,
out,
yeah,
you moved right in.
literally the same
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
So it worked out. Like we were trying to find a place to live from Canada down here, which is impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And then Heath's like, I think Heath was like, I don't know if he never necessarily trusted anyone else to take it over either.
Yeah, because that was cheap.
Yeah, it was
place for
super
a dope
cheap,
house.
super cheap, and the landlord was really cool. Russell Gawa, he was like, I didn't realize he was like the head guy behind Mongoose back in the day.
He's the guy
So
who owned the house?
Yeah, he was he was the owner. Yeah, so he's like,
That's such a Heath move.
and then he's like, I'm gonna have to. He's like, I don't want to bum you guys out. I know you know what Heath pays. I'm gonna have to raise it on you a little bit.
We were
And it-
1,200.
Yeah, and he
for
raised
a full
he raised it
house.
up to 1,300 on $100. He felt so bad.
That's a nice guy.
Oh, he was awesome.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
And how long did you live there?
We were there basically 2009, 2010, and then Russ passed away December 2010.
Do you remember there was a time, I remember we were going on a trip in a car we rented, and I had all my stuff in there, so I couldn't pick you guys up or something, and then
Yeah.
we were headed out, and all my stuff was
Yeah.
scattered in the back, and I remember we got to our first stop, which was Needles, California, the skate
Oh,
park.
yeah.
It was the
I was
volume
like,
van.
And I was like, where are my pads at? He goes, pads? He said, oh shit, I thought those were trash.
We were loading up the van.
So when
and
they were loading
the van's always so full of shit, and I'm like, get all this crap out of here. And I threw all this shit
You
out.
threw all
I-
my pads
I
out
didn't
before we
know
left
it was-
the fucking
I
trip.
didn't know it was.
Did you put them in a plastic bag or something?
No, they were just scattered
they were
loose,
just
and we were
like-
trying to load the bikes, and it was in the way. And I thought someone just left it in there from earlier.
I probably just
trips.
laid them in the back, but driving
Yeah.
around to get there, you know?
They were scattered in the back. It was trash.
We just didn't assume anyone wore leopard skin.
No, I didn't have leopard
Yeah.
skin.
That's why we
Yeah.
like we were like,
It was like roller derby girls in there. So
I remember getting to Needles, like, where are my pads at? And Jason's just like looking down. Like, I think they're on the line.
oh, that was a mission to find you new
Oh
pads.
my god!
too.
That, back then you couldn't find pads
No.
anywhere, you know.
I think we should go back to Criminal Mischief.
I think so too. Yeah, it was
and film it for
All right.
that. And
Yeah.
did you realize you were going to have a
What year is that?
So
No,
from
no.
cold calling, how does it get a little more? So after Road Fools, it gets a little more serious. Derek's
Yeah, I
like,
think
all right.
he's like, okay, it's like, and Road Fools is a pretty good gauge too. I would think at the time that you're like, well, this guy's a complete idiot, hopefully, or maybe that's why he liked me. But yeah, that would progress, and then I went out there on a filming trip. I think May of 2000, and that's kind of when I was like, whoa, this is like a real video. I was out with the van, and I was like, same kind of deal where it opens your eyes. But then I'm like, okay, well, I better step it up if this is what we're going to do, you know? So I was out there, I think maybe a week or two, and we rode street and rode Incline Club and stuff. And they were showing me stuff Van had filmed, and I was like, I don't know if I should be involved in this or whatever. But he was so humble at the time too, and like he was filming the most insane shit. But it was also we were just out riding, which was like,
I've never seen this.
which was
Really?
He's never seen this. He
to get
says,
opening part in Criminal Mischief is pretty amazing. Like,
yeah.
So
I always like that skate park.
Is it?
That park just got redone, so it's actually.
Is it asphalt cement sand?
No, they tore out all the asphalt.
They did?
Smooth concrete.
Wild.
They left the round nipple and they left most of the original stuff, but added some other stuff. So.
Oh, this is good, Jason.
But then, so like.
What?
Are you being serious right now?
Yes,
Yeah, I've never seen
totally
it.
serious.
He's never seen this. How are you on this podcast?
He says that about every video.
Yeah, but I haven't. It's always
He does, he
Have you
does.
seen Van's part?
I saw it
He's
years
seen
later.
Van's part.
I saw it years later, but I hadn't seen it. I didn't see it until like 2010 or something.
Who filmed most of this?
I had a camera at the time, so we were kind of going back and forth, and then a lot of buddy cam. So just like
So Little Devil sent you a camera. Who owns that camera now?
Trey Jones. yeah. I
How
used
much did you
that.
pay for that?
It wasn't a lot. But I had some raw tapes that I included in there and stuff. So
Raw tapes from Criminal Mischief?
yeah, and forward stuff. So I was like,
Do you have any more?
I think I do.
I literally.
I came across a-
I'm gonna digitize 600 fucking tapes. I haven't talked. What's that?
From what?
I have all old ride tapes. I have 401 skate videotapes.
Yeah.
I have like
I came across a bit.
I have Wasserman mini DV tapes that I got from the
rad.
office. I literally have like close to like 600 or 1,000.
I have
tapes.
all of forwards at my house. I know. Look at every time it's like, dude,
I
bring
get.
them over.
I mean, Ford Nowhere Fast is like my bike.
There's some
Criminal Mischief
there's some Nowhere Fast in
and
there.
Seek and Destroy and Nowhere Fast and Forward are like top
was-
5 video
Is this
parts
you?
for
Is
me.
that
I'm
your hair?
sorry. I'm
that-
just
is that you
realizing
still?
Stu is
That's
in
me.
the room right now. I just
Yeah.
didn't get Anthem.
You
so.
and me, because I was helping Castillo move out of the volume warehouse. He's
What?
like, oh, day before I threw out a bunch of Nowhere Fast raw tapes.
Yeah.
And I
Who
was
said
like,
that? Brian?
Castillo, yeah.
Makes sense.
Death. I died a little bit inside just right
Yeah.
then and there.
So was there a
sorry.
premiere, or did you just get the VHS in the mail? And you're
There's a
like,
premiere.
Oh, damn.
Binghamton.
Did you know you
Binghamton.
had first part?
I didn't. No, maybe I did at the time. Yeah.
Did you even get to approve your part or
Where was
approve
that?
the
No.
song or anything? It
We
was
went
just-
back and forth on songs, but everything I picked didn't
I always-
make it. But I think
loved that
But I think he
clip.
made the right call on the song. So
Is it the Incline Club?
yeah.
the ice around the outside.
That was a
is
poster,
fucking
right?
Amazing.
Cover.
Oh, cover.
Cover. So this obviously
Ooh,
this
sweet.
feels like a modern day video part where it's like curated a little bit more
Yeah.
where we're
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about Asado
We're-
and BMX Men is like
we're-
this dude showed up.
We're intentionally, because I'm getting updates of what Van's doing, and I'm like, oh fuck, all right, like I gotta go. So yeah, this was all like intentionally filming.
And was there, this obviously being revolutionary at the time, like just whips to manuals
Yeah.
in general were like the impossible type thing. So is it
Good job, Jason.
Thanks.
well done?
Derek just
Glad
did
you
us
saw it
good too
23
because
years later.
he split
Still good.
profits from the video.
Yeah.
So which I mean that wouldn't I guess people don't sell.
That doesn't happen now.
No, so it was like he's like once the cost of the video is recouped and the video's paid for itself, the company takes 50% and that the other 50% will get split between the riders
That's cool.
That's awesome.
based on your part, right? So and like
Van 99.
we never got a breakdown of percentage.
Yeah, yeah.
I would just get the checks and I know what my checks were. I couldn't imagine
What were they?
like as a whole I'd probably say I made 10 grand from that video.
That's cool.
sick.
And
That's cool.
That's after the video's been paid for and the company's still taking 50%.
Yeah, they take you on the
Yeah.
trip,
Yeah.
take care of you.
Yeah.
Think how much money videos used to make, Stu.
Yeah.
Is that how it worked?
Fuck, I don't know.
Don't lie. Don't
I
lie.
work for other people
That-
mostly.
But Anthem, how'd Anthem do?
He must have
The first
sold.
one?
Yeah.
There was two?
He-
Just fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you.
But I'm like,
No, but I'm serious because that would have been the era, right? How much where was that? I'm just basing on how much. It's like videos people bought that many videos back then.
yeah.
I mean, if you want to you're going to talk about numbers, you're going to talk about forward and props, road fools and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Independent
Yeah.
videos, not so much.
really?
Props at its time though. How many copies were they making at
You
props?
have to ask the
You
people.
never
Yeah,
asked.
come on,
Ballpark,
give it a
ballpark.
I didn't
ballpark.
start working for props until like Road Fools 8 was the
Yeah, but no one knows this. You just blew it. Just lie to us.
I wish I knew.
I always heard crazy numbers, and I've been told that I was wrong when it comes to like Wide Awake Nightmare and stuff like that. Because like I heard Wide Awake Nightmare did like 20 VHS, and then they're like, oh yeah, we should make DVDs now because there's that weird thing, and then they sold like 20 more. You know, like
I mean,
so
if
they
you
sold
can
like
gauge
40,000 copies.
If you can gauge what the checks I got and my percentage of how many people had a part in that,
Yeah.
he had to be selling a shit ton of them.
I mean,
Yeah. That shout out to Derek for that because
that's solid.
amazing.
You know,
That's absolutely
yeah,
solid.
he doesn't have to have to share that shit.
No.
Like that's
How much did you pay everyone on that?
And like that's how
Like 1,500.
Oh, that's
he
sick.
bought me the camera with that. He's like, I'll buy you the camera and it'll be yours to keep, and that'll come out of your first percentage or whatever.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's how I ended up with the camera. I use that for forward. I use that for
Dude, that's
401.
amazing.
Use that for everything.
That's like the stories you want to hear because this is the dudes that like
I mean, stuff like
they
that.
changed bike riding.
Yeah,
You know, because they
yeah.
allowed other people to change bike riding. It's all because of just being a good person.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And
that's amazing.
Do you still keep up with Derek? Is that-
Through
Social,
Instagram and
yeah.
stuff, and we hung out a bunch at Brooklyn Dew Tour. I think he was there, and he was working on something at the time. It's still not out, obviously, but yeah, we'll see.
Didn't you get a package recently?
Semi recently, yeah. I'm
Still
so
on.
bad. I'm so bad at asking for stuff. Like he's like, yeah, he gave me a promo code. He's like, just order whatever you want, and I went to use it, and it didn't work. but he's like, someone got a hold of the code, I had to change it, and then he gave me a different code. It was all good. But at first, you just feel like it's a big prank, right? Like, oh,
Got you, fucker.
So
Were you there for any of the hijinks at the beginning?
no.
Was there any trips or anything like that? Like you
We
on
did.
a trip with Pat Juliff or?
They came out to Vancouver, yeah.
Okay.
Juliff and Van and like, yeah, I remember distinctly filming a couple of clips. Like, I don't know how they ended up. They made me stay. I don't even know if they stay at my house or not. But yeah, I did the one trip to Philly. That like all my Philly clips would have been from that one trip, and then mostly like buddy cam after that. So.
Okay, yeah. that's
Vancouver stuff.
cool.
Go ahead.
I was remembering that transition to barrier spot that was in Vancouver. What video was that in? You guys,
Little
fucked that
Devil. It was a DVD extra.
thing. Yeah,
Vancouver trip.
yeah. You guys.
Van's always like, we invented barrier riding on that trip, and like it changed the game. Like, because that wasn't quickcrete or anything. That was just raw. So
Yeah.
and like when they opened up when they pushed them both up and the channel opened up, like that became a spot.
Dude,
Like-
how do I find that? I don't know. Yeah, that because Gary and I went, and I think Morgan, we went and rode that thing.
Yeah,
We're like,
it's so good, right?
we were like, dude, what they did was fucked. Like we just couldn't.
Was it pushed up to the bank?
It was, yeah,
Yeah.
it was,
But it wasn't
was still-
trannied, right?
It wasn't.
It was
like
it was a small asphalt bank, but then
There's no quickcrete.
the Canadian no quicker.
Yeah, that's what I was just
but the
saying.
Canadian Jersey barrier is a little not
Well,
quite as abrupt as what you're used to down here, but it was still raw.
That's so Canadian.
It was
of
cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it was rideable.
Yeah.
But when we like thought back
Yeah.
to whatever you guys did and how chill you made it look, we're
Yeah.
like, this is fun.
I remember being there. We were riding one night and Bear Claw showed up and he was going to quickcrete it, and I was like, I'm like, do you not see what's already happened without it? Like, unless you're going to go 900 this thing, yeah. Like,
What video is it that you're smashing your bike on it? You get up and you throw your bike. It's so bad.
probably
On the
ride
clock.
ride video.
Ride video.
What ride-
Industry.
Industry.
Yeah, we were riding that thing like quarter pipe for a while.
Yeah,
like
I think-
Sato did it.
'cause I remember
Sato was doing 540 nose
that
on
video
that,
part.
and
540 nose.
Yeah.
Is that
I don't think it's Industry is the first one.
Turbulence?
no, Turbulence is Brian's part. It's Industry.
Industries, is that the one we have the Etnies road trip in?
I think it's Industry. No, not Industry.
Industry is the first one with mirror and
Turbulence. You're right.
everything. Yeah,
Turbulence. Yeah. I had them mixed up.
It's okay.
Sorry.
Industry has that Etnies road trip we do, right? Yeah.
This one, a lot of people haven't seen this one. I like this part.
Shout out to BMX MDB if you need any videos. They are
Last part, I think.
the last part. My bad.
Oh, I wish that spot was still.
I know.
What the fuck?
What the fuck, bro?
I lived with Hino.
Okay, tell a story.
Tahoe?
One time we went to Taco Bell and he was a vegetarian and there was a piece of chicken in his burrito and he flipped the fucking table over and almost started a fight with everyone in Big Bear.
Hino's the best.
Actually, I don't think it's this one you're in.
It is, I think. No, maybe
No,
not.
it's not.
Wasn't that last part?
Wasn't that bad?
My bad.
Sorry, we got a Hino store.
Gets a little foggy. Ride.
Turbulence in industry. What is not industry?
Digital interface.
Yeah.
Digital interface. Shout out to Glenn Milligan.
Yep. My all-time favorite filmer. I think that was in the comments.
Yeah, it is.
Look how sick you could just YouTube. You can't do that. You can't
No.
just click on the part.
Nuh-uh.
Are we back on?
We're back
So
on.
back on. Digital interface.
I haven't seen this in so long.
Are you in this, Jason?
Yeah, last part.
Oh, that was sick. That's not the Jersey Bear.
No, I made that one.
Yeah.
God, that was sick. This is how I like to remember my Jason Enns right here. This is like, you know.
Yeah.
I always find it.
Me too.
Yeah.
I always find it crazy that you and Dave, when you did like overgrinds and stuff, you'd go to
Yeah,
switch pegs.
yeah.
Like your first overgrind on a rail
Yeah.
was
Oh.
switch side.
I'm still trying to learn over ice regular peg. I can't do it regular peg.
Huh.
I have to do regular peg.
That's the original Burnaby bowl. It's been tore out now.
Oh,
They made way more user
look
friendly.
at that, sick.
Is it propped up against the tree?
Yeah.
I could see that tree was like about to give up.
Chain link hockey net.
What year is this one?
2003 maybe?
All right, so the Jason N lean came shortly.
Well,
before this.
I was gonna
you
say,
just say-
yeah. I was gonna say the ends out. It's funny. There's that account, the fake steez, where I'm like, I don't know if it's fake, but it's just that ends out.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't feel like I ever did it intentionally. It just kind of came
That's
about.
the way all the greats do it.
Yeah.
that was the spot.
That's the spot right there, yeah.
What?
I mean, look what you just. That thing was not that.
I think we just put enough time in on it. That it's
Yeah,
like,
I think you guys forgot that it wasn't a quarter
Yeah.
pipe.
That's a picnic table that comes
Yeah.
apart, right?
Yeah, it dismantled and then fit in the back of my truck all like,
Oh, that's the
Yeah.
photo, right?
At Australia,
yeah, pretty much, eh?
into grass.
So good.
Oh, that was such a good
Yeah.
whip.
Switch.
You know.
Just because no one else said it.
Sometimes I get afraid. Sometimes I get afraid. Sometimes I get afraid to call it out and then be like, nah.
But
I was waiting for you to raise your
yeah,
hand.
I sent him a clip the other day from '91. I did like a feeble bar, but I was left side peg, but I didn't know I was like Oppo, and he's like, nah, because
You only have two pegs.
Yeah, I
up on
grinded.
that.
I started grinding left before I knew I grinded right.
Yeah.
So it's like I kind of learned handrails and everything left side before I realized that was my wrong side.
Which is where the term came up, other regular.
Other regular, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's perfect for mini ramp, though.
So
Yeah, oh yeah.
ends out. Obviously, I think we touched on. Is there anything else there? Like, I mean, what did it ever become like something that you knew about that other people?
I mean, when
talked
people
about?
start talking about it, but then I was like, it was never.
What's ends out?
And I think maybe it's like
Is Lena.
when I started getting
Yeah.
heavier, it was just my knees couldn't hold it up anymore.
I didn't want to say
Hold
that.
up,
I know,
Wait,
but
hold-
honestly, like,
when
Hold
you
it up anymore.
like
Yeah.
you got a little heavier and
yeah.
it started coming.
yeah, and like, and then it kind of grew out of that. Honestly, I think that's the truth for real.
I was waiting for
It
you.
was
to
just
say
like more a necessity to save the knees than style.
Your
but-
knees were just giving out. They were at the max before they buckled.
yeah, I mean, life on the edge, right?
And then the other thing, and I don't know if this is even that skate park that you do the wall tap.
Yeah,
The
Sado one?
Northgate. right?
Yeah,
Parkgate.
Parkgate.
The Canadian nose pick
Yeah.
that did it get pulled, I think was the thing, right?
We'll never know.
The answer is okay.
Cut that
I-
out.
Is it?
I believe. No, I was there, and he didn't pull it.
Okay.
He didn't pull it.
Yeah.
He was damn close.
Yeah.
Like he was coming in and not pulling it, but
Even getting into that.
like he's.
I mean, it's.
He-
surviving that.
He
that
probably
photo.
tried it 30 times.
Yeah.
And he's up there.
And there's no
hanging-
deck.
There's no deck on
There's
it.
no deck
right?
on
So
it. It's double coping
Yeah.
in a hole.
It just
Yeah.
drops like
Just
that.
like
Yeah.
wall, yeah. You can see it in that tail tap.
It's close too. It's not that.
Yeah.
Was it the wall tap before this clip?
I think maybe before.
Yeah.
Sorry,
One more.
we let the cat out of the bag.
I mean, I think we talked about it at some point.
I
But
mean, I don't think Dave gives a shit.
yeah,
so-
yeah. I think it was Brian's kind of looseness with photos at
Yeah.
points, right?
he just
yeah.
ran
Well, there was-
on the cover of
Yeah.
like a catalog.
Yeah.
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 Because at a
I
point
think
you're like, look at this
he
fucking
ran it as
photo.
an ad,
Oh, wasn't that?
but like, I don't know if it was like he needed something of Dave specifically,
Didn't have
and
it.
that's all he ended up with from that trip. But
Brian would do that back in the day, though.
yeah, oh yeah.
He needed a photo of me.
And I think maybe at that time too, you're like, I'll run the photo. Dave's gonna pull this, obviously,
Yeah.
right? Which I don't think he ever went back and did it.
That could be part of it too.
But I don't know. We were talking about this
270
earlier on the
whip.
drive up. Brian raised me up.
Well, that's
Photos.
that was what I was going to bring that up too,
And
because
I'm like, dude, the photo is
Yeah.
already good. Now I have
Yeah.
to like
Explain.
have people
Especially
kept texting me
if
saying,
you're gonna-
like, damn, that was so high.
Yeah.
And I'm
If you're
like,
gonna do it, make it ridic. Like he
Yeah.
did with Cesny. He did one with Cesny where Cesny was like,
like, out of the
yeah,
ad.
out of the ad.
But it was so like not stated anywhere that people were just like. I mean, I remember that one. I'm like, I didn't think it was
Yeah,
fake
they-
at all.
See, you can
Yeah.
see there's no deck there, right?
Yeah.
And like you can see how big that. Just getting up on that
I mean,
fence
it's 8
is
feet.
insane.
It's 8 feet.
Yeah.
Minimum. In Brian's defense, I think that's Brian's sense of humor. And
No,
just
yeah.
doesn't. He
He's
doesn't. He
laughing
isn't
to
trying to.
himself.
He's not trying to fake people. He's just like, this is funny.
Yeah.
And just doesn't.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
the time, the social skills to understand.
He
that-
thought it
was a joke.
looked fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to need an ad of me, so he had Ed Subius, I think, jump a car, and I almost got kicked off Etnies because he's wearing Vans.
Yeah.
It's an ad of me, and he's got his full face mask and it's a helmet. It just says me.
Yeah, but I think in hindsight you would see how he's like, Dave's obviously going to go back and do that. So
I could see that. Yeah.
you know, at some point you believe there's going to be video proof of it. Just
You can
never-
get into it.
Just
like
never
that.
came.
Yeah. Like,
What I mean, how does he even?
Just Whistler?
He pulled back in a couple of times.
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. I mean, it's Dave.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's such a small. It's only 5 feet tall.
Yeah.
So that feels like a loop out.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I mean, it's Dave.
Yeah, coming in, but you know what I mean.
He's not thinking about that.
There is a couple questions we kind of skimmed over though, and Stu brought this up. That's the man in the dark over there who's fallen asleep listening
He
to
actually
our stories.
is falling asleep.
I don't blame him.
You can go sit chill on the couch if you
Yeah,
want.
if we're boring you, bro. The
making me tired.
I know.
I can't see him.
In honor of Stu, this podcast will be in black and white.
Yeah.
He brought this up outside. Like, what person in their right minds quits Etnies for another shoe company in the height of Etnies of that team? What was going through your mind? How'd that come about? And who were you pissed at?
I wasn't pissed at anybody, but I felt like my time was kind of coming to an end there anyway, in all honesty. But I'd known Rich forever. Like the half bar and half bar on the blue ramps, like Rich would always be at those jams. I knew him when he was a little grom. And then he ended up living around the corner from Castillo at that time. And then we went over there one day and he had the shoes. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, these, I was like, put me on as a joke. He's like, you're on.
But
And I was
also,
like-
you're going from a team with 14 people
Yeah.
down to like 4, and you're one.
Just like Kink, just
But
him.
we hadn't, and then he's like, Edwin was doing it, so we're like, shit, okay. But then, so they had to submit an ad, and that's 3 months ahead. So we hadn't told anybody this was happening yet, and Rich submitted the ad that we were on, and then that made its way up, and then I
Got
talked to
out.
Don about it. But there had been some fishiness. I don't know legitimately what, like, they redid the website, right? And then the rider list came out and I wasn't on the rider list and stuff. And that's when I was like, I didn't want to go to backyard.
Who was the team manager that time?
Probably would have been Pova.
Nate.
No, Nate was gone.
Oh, okay.
It would have
Nate
been
was
Pova.
go-
It
Oh,
would
so it
have
was
been
after
Pova.
forward.
It would have been Pova.
So did Pova. Yeah.
But then I was like, I didn't want to do those backyard. I just didn't like going to
Yeah.
Europe at the time and stuff. And like that, those contests became a big thing to do. And I was like, this looks fun over here. But I think it was the right choice. because I got way more years on Lotek than I would.
Of Etnies.
And if I rode Etnies out and I was off 2 years after that, I wouldn't have got anything else after that.
What year was that?
2003.
2003.
But I mean, my signature shoe did good for, like, I got good checks from that. That never would have happened from Etnies.
No, it wouldn't have.
They matched what I was making. Like, Rich matched.
What was that at the time?
Well, I mean,
$500, $1,000? What was it?
Just think of that Schwinn money.
I think it was.
No, what was Etnies paying you though back then?
I think it was like $600 or $650. So not a lot.
Not a ton, yeah.
Not a ton, but at the time it's a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So Rich matched that. And then I got the signature shoe, which I got quarterlies on, which were really good.
Which you would have never gotten on
I would have
Etnies.
never got that.
Yeah.
So in the long run, and I mean, I was on Lotek till it was finished.
And also, you were the big. When was that?
It's a gray area because
I'm still getting shoes.
I mean, it was never.
This is the heavy zone.
It was never. It was never officially done. But then the checks just stopped, and then no one answered
That's
phones.
a nice
and then
way of
that
saying
was
you're
that,
fired.
You know? Yeah, I'm okay with that. Whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Interesting.
like at Etnies Forward, I mean, obviously that is like the
Yeah.
team, like the
Yeah.
fucking.
Well, I was
heaviest ones,
filming Criminal Mischief and Forward at the same time.
which is insane.
So,
Yeah.
but I tried to be like conscious effort to be like, I want skate park stuff in Forward and street stuff in. Obviously, the lines blur, but that was like kind of my intention.
Do you think that was the right choice now?
Like,
Making that choice to have more, you know what I mean? Like looking back, when now the videos are done, do you wish, I should have done more street stuff for that? Or
I wish I would have put my better stuff in Criminal Mischief.
okay, that's what I'm asking. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I could have took some Forward stuff and shifted it over.
That's what I'm asking.
Because the Forward videos, I'm also just in the mix. You know what I mean?
you have
like-
you have opening part though in Forward.
Second.
Right?
In second part.
Who has opening? Oh, I do.
Oh my! You're on fire. Remember?
Yes. yeah, I knew it was in the beginning.
I feel like I have first part because I always skip his. So it's like.
Yeah, I got it. Fair enough. Me too.
You just have to. You gotta
Get in when you can.
Who has opening part?
But I remember it was like right in the beginning. That's it. Yeah.
I love this
Oh
part. I
god,
thought it turned-
240p. What are we doing?
It
here?
was- my thing was like,
I thought that part was great.
especially filming at the same time, I'm like, I have to have some way that they look a little different.
This
at
is all
least,
the Whistler stuff,
Because
right?
they kind of come out at the same time as well, right? Like, no, Criminal Mischief's 2000.
It's 2002.
No, it's 2003. No, they both
No,
came out
2001.
2001. Forward.
Can we find out? Can we check
Forward's,
that?
Forward's
Since we all-
2001 too,
I thought
right?
it was 2002.
I would.
So they're they're
Yeah.
close. No, you're probably right because
I know.
Forward came out after.
Forward premiered the year after in Binghamton. That
Yeah.
Little Devil did.
2002. Look, Etnies Forward.
Yeah.
2002.
Yeah, there you go.
That's that transfer you did at that park too. We went there too.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's the
this
first-
is
Yeah.
this is fucking insane.
the
we were like
that's the oldest
on your
skate park in Canada,
coattails,
right?
Yeah.
like going to your parks
Yeah.
and stuff. Like it was me, Morgan, and Gary. Basically,
That one's so fun because you just like you GL in the bowl so hard on the
Oh
yeah,
my
that's
god,
so fun.
yeah,
This is the oldest skate park, right? In
Yeah,
Canada?
so that's from the 70s. Yeah,
it's a cool park. So you said that one's still there?
it's still there. Yeah,
Okay.
the whole area has been developed. Like
Yeah.
it's all it's crazy. That's in Hope where they filmed Rambo First Blood.
It was
Yeah, we talked about it.
on the way in.
Look at those
I love
bars,
this
man.
part.
eh?
Oh, look at
This is
that.
sick. Is so good.
How's your back these days?
I think it's good.
Yeah.
Like for the most part.
Have you seen this before, Mike?
No, I didn't go to the premiere.
This park's all been redone. All that shit's gone.
So is there a couple of clips that you wish you just held on for?
I think they're probably, but I mean, you want both to be good, right?
Yeah.
Like at the same time, like I wasn't consciously, I want one to be better than the other, but I thought 540 the spine in here, right? That would have been a cool.
Yeah.
Oh, look
Cool.
at that. So that was Olympia?
That was Taj's thought
Taj's
that lasted
yeah.
like 2 months.
Yeah.
Thunderdome.
Thunderdome, yeah.
Got an earthquake and like
Earthquake condemned
cracked
the building.
walls.
I just saw a kid double peg that the other day, and he was so pumped.
That's sick.
on the gram. No idea.
Is that the gap you're talking about?
Yeah. Paul B used to do some insane shit there too.
Was that a cover too?
Etnies Ed.
God, the whips.
That's Yannick on the roller skates.
He did blades too?
No, skates.
Oh,
Actual
jeez.
skates.
Oh, like the 4-wheel
Yeah,
ones.
yeah.
That was sick. The last ever.
Ooh, no one was doing those then.
No.
That was
Yeah.
sick.
Is that brakeless?
No.
Just trying to give you more props, dude.
Crazy angle at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely.
So I was trying to
sideways.
go like,
So good though.
That's such a familiar looking crash.
That one was wild at the time
at the
too.
time, yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd never seen that before.
I understand. When did the Dig Comer come out?
2003.
Because I feel like that's the most famous thing about you.
You're probably right.
Like when people think of like the most famous
Yeah.
BMX cover,
That and Looney Tooney or whatever his name was.
Ice Tooney.
Ice Tooney.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
how did that Dig cover come about?
Because Ed was living in Vancouver at the
Doherty.
time. Yeah. So when we were shooting the interview, and then he's like, "Oh, I just want to shoot some lifestyle stuff," and I had that crazy dog at the time. So
Bronson.
yeah.
Bronson.
So we had run. It was like a graveyard. So I'd take her over there, and we had run. And then he's like, "I'll just shoot a couple photos and just
See how it goes.
yeah, that's how it goes."
And then you didn't know that was going to be the cover.
No.
Awesome.
Well, I think we were on Road Fools.
There it is.
We're on the maybe Road Full 7. Does that sound right? 2003. And Frymus like, "You got the cover." And I was like, "Doing what?" He's like, "You and your dog." I'm like, "Get the
That's
fuck
some
out."
good photo contingency.
Yeah.
Right
Oh
there,
yeah,
too.
yeah. I cashed in on that. Those are the days, man. People don't know about that stuff. Like, that was like you had it all there.
So good.
It's all there.
You got Etnies.
Yeah. So
Volume.
I used to run her. Like, she just loved that, right? So, and she was like, she was a crazy dog. So I'd always take her out to the graveyard to run her around, and then she didn't have good recall or anything, so we were out ripping one day, and then she's like, she saw there's a funeral going on. I didn't see it in time, and she was off leash, right? So I was like, and she like, it's one of those things when you got a dog and you see it and they look at you, they're like, "Fuck you." I was like, I fucking chased her down. And oh, thank God! Like, before like anything catastrophic, but still, like, that's.
Come and
Are you
jump on
screaming at
somebody's
your dog?
Yeah, but I was like, yeah. You're like,
Yeah. And that makes it worse because it seems like your dog is
now
gonna,
I'm
like,
a grown
go
ass
for
man on a
somebody's
BMX
neck.
bike chasing this fucking pit bull
Dog
through
just
the
eat a dead
graveyard.
person.
during a funeral.
Yeah, like what a catastrophe, man.
So were you, like, I feel like you can look back on it and appreciate it, but in the moment you're like, dude, I'm not even like doing anything.
Because he just wanted to shoot lifestyle stuff, so we did. Like, I get why he wanted to shoot the photo.
Yeah.
I wasn't bummed that this was the cover.
Okay, that's what I was getting
I wasn't
at, yeah.
bummed.
Okay.
I feel like that's the best picture of my interview. So I'm like,
I remember seeing it and being like, obviously I worked at Ride at the time, and I was like, this is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
why is it not like a
But-
riding?
But like you could have
like,
you could take any picture from my interview and put it on the cover and people wouldn't remember it.
That's
You know?
yeah.
So I mean,
Did you feel that way about Ride a lot? Like, did you feel that you guys were doing the right thing?
I wasn't saying right or wrong. I just thought it was crazy. I just was like, it's weird that it's not
Well, then,
a
hasn't
really
riding
happened.
cover.
I had
Yeah,
people
like,
hit me up. They're like, "Do you know this is only the second lifestyle cover in BMX?" I was like,
What was the other one?
Eddie Fiola sitting on his bike freestyling.
You and Eddie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good company, I guess.
Yeah.
Similar.
But yeah, I was like, I'd never analyzed it to that point or
Yeah,
anything. I
yeah.
just thought it was cool, and it was fun because like she's long gone, obviously, so that's a nice memento to have.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
I think it's one. I see it now. At the time, I was
Yeah.
like, fucking bizarre, like.
Yeah.
But
No, like, but I mean, they're selling different things, and
yeah,
Then-
it was a
They're selling fun.
I don't. I mean, sure.
yeah. We were selling pain and misery.
I like that. That's what it registered to in your.
Yeah, fun. Those are the only
it's the
options,
opposite,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I do have a question because I'm not sure when this happened.
Okay.
And it would have been by now. When did the incident happen
What incident?
on the plane?
Oh, Hawaii demolition
yeah,
trip.
Yeah, that caused you to change your whole life.
Well, no, I always hated flying. Always hated flying. But then, yeah, we did the demolition trip to Hawaii. And then when we were leaving, we're probably only maybe 8,000 feet. And then they called it a static discharge, which is we got hit by lightning. And it was basically an explosion on the plane. Like, and it was like the whole side lit up. and then everything powered off. And like everyone that worked on the plane was screaming. Everyone that was on the plane was screaming. And I usually gauge, like I don't like flying, but I'll gauge myself on the people that work on the plane. And when they were losing their shit, I'm like, this is it.
And what happened? Plane dropped, right?
Well, yeah, we started descending because
A controlled descent.
maybe.
It's a drastic
But
though.
I'm
so
sure.
you're dropping, like people
Yeah.
are screaming and stuff, and then they were like, all of a sudden everything powered back up, and the pilot came on. He's like, "Well, everything's back up and running. We're gonna keep going." I was
They're
like,
such sociopaths.
I was like,
with that
"Get
stuff.
me
They're like,
fucking
they're
off
like,
this
wow,
thing."
that was
But
interesting.
even-
What?
Mil-
We're gonna keep on going.
Glenn's sitting beside me, and he's like, look. He's like, we're gonna hit the water. The beach is right there. We can make it. I'm like, we're not fucking making
Oh, you were that close? Not,
yeah,
not
yeah,
over
yeah,
the
yeah.
middle
Like,
of
but
the
I'm like,
Pacific.
this thing has to hit the water, and we have to get out of this and then get there. And I'm like, that's not gonna happen.
White knuckled, right?
How-
Hold on.
How many seconds
I mean, it felt
of pure fear?
it was a while. Like it probably way shorter than it felt, but I mean, when stewardesses are screaming, you think something's happened.
Like 10, 15 seconds of this? What is it?
Probably, yeah. And then like the worst flight of turbulence ever. Like it was so bad you couldn't use the bath. It was just like,
And
it was
we're-
5 hours. Like
And that after that, I mean, you wouldn't get on a plane for a
no,
long time.
I mean I would, but
you
I mean
said to me,
I turned down a lot of stuff.
yeah, because we would try to go to
Yeah.
contests, whatever, and you'd be like, look, if we were supposed to go there, God wouldn't have put an ocean between us.
I did say stuff like that, and that's I think that now we're coming back. Now we're coming back to the Etnies thing where they're like, "You're going to England for this thing." I'm like, "Fuck, I am."
I'm gonna go to the shoe company that can't afford to send me to
Yeah.
England.
No trips to England on low tag time.
Because I remember when we went to Alaska,
Yeah,
it was a big deal that you went to Alaska.
Yeah, yeah.
But then I was like, guys, we're going to go look at bears.
the float plane was
Yeah.
sick.
So went to bears, and so like he was stressing about it, and like even up until the
I was
morning.
actually I'm better on the small one
Yeah.
than the big one. Once we're up there, I was okay with that.
But there's footage in the video somewhere looking at him, and he's just like,
you know,
look
you
at
know,
you.
you know what other footage? You know what other
oh,
footage?
that one,
Yeah.
You know what other Alaska? Where did the Alaska footage go? You in the airport?
Where is it? I have no idea.
What do you do?
It's not what I did.
He didn't do anything.
We had a layover in Seattle or something.
Yeah, it was in Seattle.
And I
Mike's
had money to spend.
Mike's like, oh, look at these guys give you massages right here in the airport. I'm gonna get one.
You know, like they have like the chair set up.
Yeah.
So he goes and gets the massage, and like the rest of us are like, that dude is.
And I'm like looking at him, just they're seeing them laughing.
We're laughing. He's getting massaged, and we're like, the dude massaging him is torqued.
in sweatpants.
Fully torqued. And we're like, he doesn't know what's going on.
I'm just like, oh, this is
We're
great.
like-
Wait,
we're
so
like-
you guys filmed it?
Yeah, but I don't know where the footage
It
was.
must be. It must be in a tape somewhere.
Oh my god! Like we're just dying because he has no idea. He's like, "Yeah, I'm getting a massage, real funny."
And the footage is like,
He's like, bet you guys are jealous right now, huh?
And they're laughing, and I'm like, "What's up?" And I come back walking, all happy.
And it was like it wasn't a bunch in his pants or anything either because when they were done, it was gone. So it was like it was full. He was 100% torqued. Man.
What was his name, Mike?
I like that it's torqued.
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 Yeah, this trip was epic.
He was fully Baco 6.
6 to midnight.
Maybe
Go
7.
6 to midnight.
this trip was epic.
These trips were good, yeah.
Alaska was amazing.
But there's a clip of you actually, Colin.
All right, so Jason, I have a hypothetical question.
Yep.
All these trips, Road Fools, Criminal Mischief, Etnies days, put your dream trip is like 5 dudes. Who's on the trip with you?
Don't be a dick.
Well, yeah, obviously, Mike. I think like the last
I'll pause this.
when I wasn't doing bikes for money anymore, the trips we were going on were so fun.
Yeah.
Like, and now you're just a bunch of dudes all took time off work, and we're doing like Toronto's coming out. Like,
All right, 2 vans. 5 people you want to be with, 5 people you don't want to be with.
yeah, let's not get that. I mean, we might need more than
Bigger van.
might need a bigger van. But
There's something to be said about not.
but the trips got so like when there wasn't.
Whoa, there's light ones still.
Oh
That
shit,
was-
my
yeah,
bad.
You
Oh,
don't
my
want
bad.
that.
No, I
I'll
don't
take
want
that.
that. Yeah, give me the light. Specific.
I like how we switched. I got you into light
I
beer.
like
Yeah.
that the
When you
vibe
first
of
got-
light beer has
Yeah,
changed.
we first moved down.
The trips, like when the money was over and we were just doing trips for fun, that was like it was all the way full circle back to being a kid where we're like, fuck it, let's go. Like no agenda. We didn't have to film anything. We didn't have anything to sell. We didn't have any, like, those were the best, man.
I remember
we had a couple of years of that, and it was awesome.
It was like,
and we were just like, I'd see a spot on Instagram and be like, where is this? And we figure it out, and I'm like,
You and him. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
let's go.
Yeah.
And I remember you were judging the Do Tour.
yeah.
And so we were like, oh, we'll do a fucking road trip up to Portland.
Yeah.
And we got up there and we were putting pictures up, but like nothing riding. Just you can't tell we were on a trip, right? And I remember Corey Martinez goes, dude, I cannot wait to see all the footage.
Yeah. We rode cool shit.
And I remember we both looked and went, we actually haven't filmed anything yet.
Yeah.
It got to a point where the camera was a distraction and it was just bikes.
Yeah.
It was
that was it. I mean, those were the best. Like that almost like, I would say that was better than any of the other trips because it was just like, you can appreciate everything that came before it, but now it's like, it's one step above that still, where it's just like pure. I mean, pure, basically.
Yeah. Friends and fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other trips, you're kind of on someone else's
Yeah.
agenda the whole time, or some of the riders watching them do, or where they want to go. And like we would drive 6 hours, get to a spot, and be like, "Nah, shit looks ugly. It looks boring. We don't even get out of the car."
Yeah.
We looked at it and like, "Nah, we'll just keep driving to the next spot."
That's why I always say we calculate the mileage at the end. And we'd do 4,000 miles and be like, 4,000 miles, do the same 3 tricks I do. Block for block. You know, but it was so fun. Like, gives the excuse to get out there.
There's days with Tirada and we drive like 10 or 12 hours around town, and bikes never came off the rack.
Dude, we went to Fresno and home in one day, just for like one spot. And like, in the car for 8 hours, like to ride for...
Yeah, just some weird DIY some dude built on his farm.
That we didn't even know where it was. Or sometimes we just fucking wing it. Like,
it's good.
Yeah, we used to drive to Oregon for the weekend.
yeah.
And it was brutal, but
Yeah.
it was sick.
Can you imagine? Then you get there and you've been in the car for how long? You get out and you're like, yeah.
Yeah. Get so antsy. We'd leave at Friday at like 10 o'clock at night when we were supposed to leave in the morning.
Drive all night.
Yeah.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah,
now.
get knocked out at Visalia.
I think you need to tell Fudge the Woodward story.
Which one? Oh,
Dude, it's a
that was because that was the end of one of those trips.
We were at Woodward?
Woodward Tahoe, right? That's what you're saying.
Oh,
yeah. You need to tell that.
We were on a trip to Idaho with
No,
Laser and us.
we went. Where did we start?
We started
started
for
Vegas.
Interbike.
Yeah, we
Interbike.
started Vegas.
And then we drove.
No, that wasn't Interbike.
It wasn't?
Because we just went to Vegas to ride those pools.
Okay.
We met up with
Laser.
Joaquin.
Oh, Joaquin.
Shout out to Joaquin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we met up with him, and that was crazy.
Interesting.
It was interesting. We rode some 6 spots, which was awesome. And then
I hope Joaquin is okay wherever he is.
Yeah.
Haven't
I
seen
mean,
him
he
in
was
a
in
long
Portland
time.
for a while, but I don't know where he's at now. But hopefully he's doing well.
But then we drove a road up Nevada that was like by Area 51 that was just like nothing for 11 hours. Just grass.
And we went. I'm like, oh, I saw this park in Idaho, and we drove up to that, and then cut over to Portland, and then
Drop Laser off.
yeah, and then we did Reno, Tahoe, and then we're like, oh, let's get a session at Woodward.
So I called Woodward.
We're feeling good though. Like we've been riding. We're like, fuck, we're still doing it.
We are at our prime.
We're at our prime right
Yeah.
now.
Rooftops on fire.
No, but we're at a
Setting
prime
up
like
the cardboard.
Arguably, I'm riding better than I've ever ridden. I feel like him too. Like everywhere we go is like we can ride anything.
Yeah.
I call Woodward. I was like, yo, can we get?
And then it was like, because it was even still weird getting in to Woodward at the time. So
Yeah, you
they're
get a
like,
call and figure it out.
all these people had to coordinate, and then obviously the guy, oh, go meet up with this guy, and the guy didn't know shit about. He's like just the guy we had to check in with, right? So we're feeling good, and we're like, yeah, we're here. He's like, for what? I'm like, to ride. And he's like, are you guys picking kids up or dropping them off, or we're like, we're here to ride.
Jason's face looks at me like this, like, the fuck's he talking about, Mike?
but not even that. The guy couldn't comprehend
That we were
there to ride bikes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do we look like right now, Mike? I'm like,
Earlier in Washington, we
look
were
like
at a
a
skate
dad.
park.
yeah, I know.
We're at a skate park, and there's a woman there with
Yeah.
her little kid pushing her, and she's like, "Oh yeah, it's my 30th birthday," and I was like, "Jason, do we look that old?" 2 days later, yeah, we do.
And we went like, I would say we were riding the high of that trip, and that was the last spot too. And we're like,
It ruined our whole session.
we just 6 hours home in silence.
Picking up or dropping
And
off.
you'll see sometimes I'll in the old posts,
Yeah.
I'll hashtag dropping off or picking up.
pivotal moment for
Yeah,
you guys. The
Well,
airplane and woodwork.
perspective too, because
Yeah.
you're feeling good, and then you're like, maybe I'm like,
Maybe I'm pro still.
yeah, and then you're like, nah.
Nah.
Wait, speaking of, when did you stop feeling like you were pro in your head for you?
My first trip with Dennis. No, that's the truth.
That seems
though.
to be everybody's.
That's the truth, though. Like
Yeah.
when we were working on Last Chance, and then like I did the trip with Rob Wise, him, and like it was a crazy because we had a Sato, Rob Wise, Dennis, Christian.
Jesus.
So it was
I went on that.
yeah,
one.
and you're on there. So it was a crazy mix, and like even Asato's was kind of out of touch at the time too, and he was like,
Fuck is this mutant?
"What the fuck is going on?" And I was like, "This is just what they do, man." I'm like, I don't know.
I was so psyched. I got hurt at the
Yeah.
beginning of the trip and just about to hang in the
But
hotel.
then he's like, Sato started feeling. He's like, "Do I have to?" I'm like, "You don't got to do anything. Like, just do." Said, "Film a couple." He was like studying every night. We're in Vegas. He's like in the room reading because he was trying to be a firefighter, so he's doing all the studying and stuff. And he saw those guys ride, which was really cool when they saw him. They had never seen anyone ride like him either.
Yeah.
So when he started doing his thing, they were losing their shit too at the time. And I mean, but yeah, that was a pivotal moment. Like last chance, that's what it's called, right?
yeah.
Yeah. It's like that's the trip that like Asato did the 50 Cent song with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
360
yeah.
nose pick.
But
on the
that's
metal
when I
sub
started
ramp.
realizing like, okay, this is I can have the best part of my life right now, and it's still just gonna be
Middle of the road.
in the mid. And it'll be a bathroom break part, you know.
Was that? Do you remember if that felt like
You were dropping the kids off.
Yeah. Do you remember if that felt like a blessing or if that felt like a disappointment?
Well, at the time, my whole life was invested in that. That's the only way I was making money. So yeah, it's pretty scary thought. They'd be like, I mean, even how they were riding then, I'm like, there's just no physical way that I can keep up with that, like mentally or physically.
Yeah.
Like, and when you start thinking like that you need to keep up, that's when you know it's over. For me, anyway, personally, like when you're going out to specifically film stuff that you don't necessarily want to do, but you think you have to do to keep up.
So was Last Chance your last part?
Volume,
Finer things.
and then my frame promo was will be the last thing I ever really work on.
This one?
Not this one, Cerberus.
Okay.
Like I actually put in
work. Yeah.
I
The
put
rest
in
are
work.
just edit
That was
things you have.
the Cerberus.
double
Yeah,
peg in the pool.
that was the downside in the pool. So that was like
got it. Oh, that was in our era. That was yeah.
So that's like
Did you have a full part in Last Chance?
yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Was it first or last?
Bathroom break.
Everyone was in the bathroom when my part came on. I don't blame them. I don't know where. I honestly don't know exactly where it is.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's wild.
Yeah, I think so.
It'll be the only one with pools in it.
Probably
Well, there's,
this is crazy, man.
yeah. Here, we'll,
What a great song, dude. This is what the song he wanted too. He chose this.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think he only had 5 songs on his iPod or
Yeah.
something, and he just picked
This
also
is
crazy.
insane.
that is
Yeah.
insane.
To me, that's the hardest thing in the part.
The thing is with, I mean, honestly, both of your guys' riding is like you guys do whatever you want to do, and people will want to see it.
Yeah.
It may not be.
You don't need to keep up.
Yeah. You just. I mean,
But I mean,
Do you?
regardless that
Dennis talks about that.
You still
like,
feel it.
Yeah.
You know, and
Of
like,
course, yeah.
And it's hard. It's kind of hard to shut that off because, like, even like you said, you're like, where do I fit in at some point? Like, you want to, and where you want to fit in isn't where you're fitting in.
Yeah. And like you see other riders that have gone this route, and you look at their stuff they're putting up, and you're like stoked. Everyone's
yeah.
stoked they're riding, but you're
Yeah.
like, is that what I am now? Just a
Yeah.
dude trying
Yeah.
to like put up,
Yeah.
like just trying to put up something that's not embarrassing.
Yeah.
This part was great, though.
Yeah. This part was still fun to work on.
Oh, I remember that day.
Yeah, you remember
I
that
shot
day.
that-
I had a
yeah.
breakdown that day too.
On that whip?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the Random Stories article.
Yeah. yeah.
What did I write? Did I
No,
write
we
something?
all wrote
Oh.
a random story. I wrote.
Oh, yeah.
I wrote about fucking up Dunkin' Donuts and shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The trash bags, and then they melted.
Yeah.
This is when the brakes first came off too.
So did the sleeves, huh?
Yeah.
California, man.
Yeah.
Sato ripped them off.
Oh, this has that clip. Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's crooked. It's hard to see.
that's my favorite. That's my favorite story. You drive all the way to Arizona to
Yeah.
get your Ender clip.
Yeah.
You end up getting it across the street from your house.
like I was at the point like this is all okay, right? Like for the time, it's okay. But I was like, if I don't have the last clip, I think I have to quit. Like, and that's where I was mentally. Like if I can't get I needed the backwards predator. If I can't get that, then I'll just quit.
And I remember you getting bummed, like you were a 4-pegger and everyone would just start into, and you're like, damn, I better get this stuff out. Like Martinez put on 4 pegs, and then other people were putting on.
Question for Fudger and Stu: do kids still feel that way? What Jason just said. Do you
that
think?
was sick.
Where like if they don't get something, that's it. You know what I mean? Like is it still taking that seriously? Where it's like it's this important to them? Yeah, no.
Well, I think I was going to ask about Jason's. Like, is that process something that he would do outside of that? Where it was like, if I don't do this, like I don't belong on the team or something. You know, like he played like it's a mental game that he played. This is all
like I said about the trip with Dennis. This is all playing at the same time, right? Yeah. So I'm seeing what those guys are doing, and I'm like, this is all. There's stuff I'm working on that they do to warm up for fun, and then I'm this isn't worth filming. Like. Whether it might be worth filming.
No, this is just...
That's just backwards. I was trying to spot the landing in that clip. But yeah, this is all kind of happening at the same time in my brain where, like, you see those guys warm up and you're like, oh, I actually wanted to film that for this part. But I'm like, if that's a warm-up, then... Like,
well, it's funny seeing your style, too, because obviously it's like a lot less whips.
Oh, I love that.
That clip was amazing. But, of course, but it is a lot less whips, a lot less, like kind of, you're more street at this point, like kind of locked into that.
That part was amazing.
That was amazing,
Just put pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
I felt the same way being around those guys. Jesus Christ.
You can feel the tide changing, right? And
of course,
you want to be a part of it, but then at the same time, you're like, but yeah, we did it.
Rob's like, why didn't you go backwards up, Predator?
We did. He's like, for real? That's it?
He's like, what are you guys cheering about?
But yeah, we did a specific trip to Arizona for me to get that clip, and we tried 2 days. The backwards Predator, you remember?
Where was the school? What school was it at school?
Just some random school rail Drew Hosselton gave me, and I'm like, this is the rail. I saw the picture of it. I'm like, this is the rail. And we got there, and it was not the rail. But we're already there.
Oh, I remember the Drew trip, yeah.
So I'm like, we did 2 days. I tried, and I got close, but I couldn't get it. And then I was like, driving back, I'm like, that's it.
I quit.
It's over. It's quit.
Fuck.
You know, and then the funny thing, this school is a block away from my house. I ended up getting it at the...
It's across the street.
Yeah, literally across the street from my house at the time.
But back to what I asked, do you think, does that still exist, that mentality of like people going like, this thing is this important? I think it means enough to me where if I can't do it at the level I want to do it, then I can't bum everyone else with my shit. You know?
I think it changes faster now. I feel like the turnover for like the progression and the level of riding is almost faster, where like established dudes that have 15-year careers is almost like less frequent. Mm-hmm. So kids don't necessarily even get that opportunity
I think if they're thinking that now, it's already too late.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
like the world's changed so like he's saying, like if you're thinking that, it's definitely true.
Yeah. But like, I mean, Dennis sits next to me all the time, and he's like, he's on top of his game, but he talks about certain things and sort of, there's little inklings of like,
is he the last one?
He's like, I'm not a bunny hop rider. He's like, I'm a gravity rider,
regardless,
and stuff like that. So he's putting himself in a lane where like other dudes.
There comes a time when you
he won't hear this, I could say
you have to
whatever I
let
want.
someone else have their time.
Yeah.
And knowing the right point of that,
it's hard.
If you stay too long, it's bad.
Yeah.
If you do it too early, maybe not great, but you have to know when it's to let someone else have their time.
Yeah. What year was that then?
Yeah, but this is
2010.
This is
2010.
No, this is like 2011, and you're still here now, and people are still stoked.
Yeah, but it's different though.
Yeah,
it's
different on S&M.
Yeah.
Because I know we had about the same time where we kind of let go of that, whatever you want to call it, ego of having to feel that way.
Yeah.
You know,
it's hard. That's hard. Like if you've been.
Because every time you go to a skate park or show up at a spot, like, oh shit, Jason's here.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't want to be, I just want to fucking ride
It's
around.
almost like you need to go back to Winnipeg and just ride with a Sato and just do whatever you fucking do and then don't see what the outside world is doing. And then people,
that's kind of
will see it and
what
be a fan of you.
I've done to myself now because I'm like, there's too much for me to take in and like, I have to be selective, and then I can feel good about where I'm at.
I feel like there's an analogy between like life even now, because it's like you look at social media and look at all these people killing it, and they're doing so great, and I'm not doing that, or these adventures that people are going on, and I'm not, and I'm on my couch looking at my phone. It's like you just look at that shit too much, and it's
overwhelming.
It won't let you do
and then
anything.
If you're looking at bike riding every day, I'm like, you're looking at the best bike riding that's ever happened in the world.
Yeah.
And you're also just scrolling by it mindlessly.
Yeah.
And then you're like, how am I going to go out and feel good about what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Like, so it's just like, you got to turn that off and be like, it's just so fun now, riding bikes. So you're like, I got to remember that. Like, turn this off and just go, you jump that hip, you're like, in the wind. Like, even the first clip, I was like, oh, when your shirt's just blowing in the wind, you're going down the street. Fuck, that feels good, man.
Do you remember when we?
That was sick. That was good. That's the point. That is the point, and that's so important for people listening that are like struggle with that shit. They should resonate.
It's hard to get there.
Sure.
Like but you remember
the horse pool
when we rode horse pool? Like, so we went. We based the whole trip around horse pool. So I got.
Is there footage of it?
Where's that at?
It's. Well, I can't.
I
can't give exact location.
We had a horse pool here in San Diego.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool.
But you know the one.
This one was bigger. It's got to be better.
No, it's
Sorry.
bigger.
No, it's crazy.
It's
Was it California?
It's Northern California.
This doesn't even seem.
And I'd got the pin from a skateboard homie up in Sacramento, and I was like, Mike, we got to go. But we also had guitar pool and. We had guitar pool and horse pool.
We already made the mistake with the horse.
We fucked up at guitar pool so bad, but
we'll never live it down. We talk about it all the time.
What did you guys do?
We didn't do anything. That was the point.
It's a pool shaped like a guitar.
We did a whole trip based around it. We got there and we left.
It had
like this shit's fucking shaped like a guitar.
I got there and I'm like, it just didn't feel right. I got scared
because the neighbors were out in their yard. It had a little bit of water.
Yeah.
But the guitar neck was where the shallow end was, so you could channel it. And I took a couple runs trying to get around this love seat with water in it, but we pussed out.
Yeah, we fucked that up bad.
And it's
gone now.
You don't want to get kicked out of the country.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that and it just sometimes it doesn't feel right, and I just felt that way, so we jammed out, but
horse pool. Go back to the story.
Yeah, so we go to horse pool, we get the bin, we drive all the way out there, we do this, and the thing's so massive. I think like 15 feet deep, maybe. Mm-hmm. Right, but it has a chute, right? So you come down the chute and just spits you into this thing. And our first run, we both went down. We were just like looked at each other, we were laughing, and we're like, worth every fucking dollar, every minute in the car, like.
Airdrop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember we rolled in and we just started giggling.
I know, it was so great.
Because we were like training in.
It was so great.
And you could just carve it like a curve wall.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
But it was like it's like getting to the top was scary. But the channel's so good. Like the right person that Corey Welsh would kill.
If it didn't have water, we may have tried it that day, but you couldn't get to it.
That was my. I would have
Mike, send it again because it saves to like fucking if the thing's like 8 years old, it'll.
I just want to go on record, Mike.
Yeah.
I would 100% try it if
Bullshit.
there's no water.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. I thought you were gonna say I would 100% done it first.
100% tried it.
Because that's Jason's thing, by the way. Anytime we see something, he's like, my zone. And then he calls out the 4 tricks that both of us can only do, and then he's like, I called it.
Road fools, basically.
This is the channel.
How do you like do anything on computer sometimes?
I don't know what you're doing. You got to get out of this. Yeah.
Import. Why do I have to import it? Okay, thanks. And now I lost it. It's sick.
Go up to view.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this is the roll-in.
So that's a big chute. Yeah, you come down the chute and it just spits you out.
But this channel here into this wall was...
Was that the water you were worried about?
Yeah, it was right. It's right in my line.
Yeah. But it's also the grossest, scummiest shit ever.
Wow.
And it's bigger than you think, that thing.
Yeah. Look at that channel, though. It's so good.
Wow.
And like the right person's getting up on that rail on top and everything. It's still there.
Is that a shitty... I photoshopped you into the picture just so you can see how big it was in this photo that I never put up. I was sending it to you. I'm like, look at this picture of you getting wrecked. It was probably me going like, look at how much you love me.
Oh my God.
But look at how
Too
big
good.
that thing is.
That was fun.
That's cool.
But that was the feeling.
We just
All right, fair play. It is big. It is bigger.
Yeah.
It is bigger than the one.
And
The one we rode. I mean, it was like 12 feet deep, but it wasn't as big as that.
We were going back and forth about trying to ride that one with you for a while.
Pools are the best. They literally are, because you
just
don't
so
have
fun.
you don't have to be a fantastic bike rider, and
Just-
you can be like a nuanced small transition rider, and it's just like it's the adventure.
Even for me,
it's the
it was
bullshit in between
the getting there and the whole thing was half the fun.
Yeah.
And
So
we-
like
we
even
nev-
if it sucked, it's still awesome.
You get one thing, and you may never ride it again.
Yeah.
And I think for me at least, it like kept me like there should be no point ever after like 2015 that you ever see me pedaling fast at something. There should be, and pools kept that from not happening, you know.
Yeah.
But it
Even if you were doing nothing, it felt like you were doing something, and it was awesome.
it felt like it felt so special that like, and it's fully a manufactured feeling. That it was just us, like it was there just for us. We had it all to ourselves.
Yeah.
But it was like a little
We're two giant
It was
stallions
like a little
in this horse pool.
but it was like a little secret society at the time. We were like trading pins
With
and
all the
we're
skateboard dudes.
Yeah, and we're
and
going
like,
on trips and doing it. It was so fun.
And it was for nothing.
It was for nothing. There was no point of it. Like
You couldn't get bummed that you didn't get anything because it didn't matter.
Because
I was there to hang
I'd always
out.
be like, what am I going to do with it?
Yeah.
If I get it. Like,
So does traveling with Rooftop, is he like, I feel like when I've been on little tiny adventures, we haven't been on like big ones, but he's like, oh, let's just chill in this parking lot, watch a movie.
There you go. There's,
You know, like,
there's the guitar pool.
there's guitar pool. Wow, that is
There's like a day of
pretty
failure.
yeah. And it had, it's gone now, but it had double,
That looks hard to ride.
There you go.
it had double love seat in the deep, so you had to carve both seats to get the channel, and it was
I
just
wanted
like
to see, like this is like older bike rider stuff where you're like, look at that spot. You're like, wow, it'd be so sick to do that, even though you're like, not it doesn't even exist anymore.
but now picture we just drove 8 hours to get there, and then
Yeah.
we still didn't do it. We didn't not even not do it. We didn't even try.
We could make video parts of the shit we said we were going to do.
Oh, the drive up compared to the drive down, that was so much different.
Yeah,
No. We were that, at that point, the drive back was like, damn, we were sick.
fucking getting it.
We killed that thing.
Yeah, we sweep that thing hella good.
And I think with me and
It's
Jason,
crazy.
because we went the same direction and we have the same, like, 6 tricks out of the 8 we can do, 6 of them are the same.
We can do
Ice
6.
pick
You can
decade.
do 6 of the 8 I can do.
Yeah, fair enough. And
Carve
so,
right, carve left.
it was always like a contest too,
Yeah.
like who's gonna get it, and then we'd shoot photos like who did the table higher, and it'd be like 1 inch
Yeah,
difference.
we'd be analyzing who gets the post,
Yeah,
who's is better.
this is pretty funny.
The banter between you guys had to be
It was
hilarious.
arguably
Those
my
were the
favorite
times.
time in bike riding.
Me too. Like full circle. Like it was the feeling of being a kid, but we had better resources. You know, so it's like you took all those same feelings and just like, oh, we can stay in a hotel for the night. We don't have to sleep under the car doing it. So it was like that feeling again. Just
And Dennis and Van weren't there, so nothing made us feel bad.
There was no one to make us feel bad. Like,
One person to a bed. Is
yeah, exactly.
And you know what else the thing was too? I was like, the kind of rules that I would make on the big only rule is like, if someone sees something and wants to stop, we'll stop.
Yeah.
There was no like, we're in a rush. It's like, oh, all right, let's go down this road for 30 miles and see
sometimes
what this piece of
could be
cement is.
something.
and-
Sometimes
Yeah.
the thing you're not looking for is better than the thing you're going to. So
Yeah.
you're like, and that kept us
It
down
really-
every side road.
it
Just
really
the thought
felt
of that.
Felt
You-
like this like exploration type
Yeah.
thing.
You had a number of miles that you guys like, or at least that you put on your car, where it was like you were doing 150, 200,000 miles
I mean,
a year.
in the FJ, which would have been like that prime time, right? The FJ was 2008 to 2019. I put almost 400,000 miles in that car.
Yeah.
It was brand new, but I'm gonna guessing there's easily 100,000 with Jason.
yeah,
You
that's
know,
crazy.
minimum, and that's just like on the weekend.
But then we end up somewhere. We come home from Phoenix. He's like, "Oh, where does this road go?" And then we end up in this fucking gulch, and I'm like, "We can't get out of here." He's like, "No, we can get out of here."
He's like,
I'm
we don't have enough gas, but we
not
might
even
make it."
gas, but then we're like, you're on this thing, and you're like, you got to get out. Tell me where the wheels are touching. And I was like, this is like too much.
I mean, we are a little notorious for like going like, we got an eighth of tank of gas. It says 180 miles.
And just stopping at a truck stop with this guy
I
is
know.
like,
What?
Yeah,
he comes out with a butterfly knife and
It's like
fucking-
it's like the scene
like-
from Dumb and Dumber.
He's got the
CB
what's
radio
What's
and-
the ghillie suit?
The Gilly.
dude, he buys any obscure thing in a truck
I'm just
stop.
making the trip fun.
I know,
will
it's
say,
awesome. I
though,
love it.
Have
I
you
love
ever
it.
seen this drink? And he's just like $8. He's like, ugh.
That's what Jason. That's why they all would go on trips with me because
Yeah.
Jason wouldn't have that much money. He's like, I'll just wait for Rooftop to
we'd-
buy too much food and then eat his
We'd
food.
go go to the restaurant
Dude,
and be
it was
like,
the best.
I'm not really that hungry.
Biz was like, yeah.
No, because it'd be like a plate of nachos, burrito, and they'd be like,
What was that, pineapple? Remember that pineapple?
I'll take a couple bites of each, and then you're eating.
Oh, it was great. You kind of you figured it out. Like if you're back.
All right. A lot of pee breaks for these old guys.
Yo, mid-40s.
Dude.
Wait, it's happening to you guys too?
That's a different podcast.
Yeah, but it's clumpy.
Welcome back to 40 Plus Men's Health.
Target audience.
Unclicked is just my waistband.
Wow. That could actually be the logo for the podcast. Just on the belt.
Just for the old guy. That would be actually a great name for a 40 older
sitting with his hand
podcast.
in his
Unclicked. Do you want to get on it?
Yeah, I remember. So we were talking earlier about you kind of got heavier,
Yeah.
and then
Not kind of.
I didn't. I'm being nice. And
He
then
knows. He knows.
So
So
big. I was almost 240 at one point.
yeah, I remember like in your house. Yeah, you had an old picture, and you're sitting on the chair.
Yeah.
You'd always you'd use that as
Dude,
like,
I had
you'd be
to-
like I'm never being that again.
I had a New Year's pic with me and my babe, and I was in a suit, and I looked like a fat old businessman, been doing coke for 20 hours, and I was like, she took a pic, and I was like, who the fuck is that? And then like that was the turning point
So
for
then,
me.
yeah. So then,
I was like to
It's-
the point where, like, I couldn't do a 38. I couldn't button up a 38 pan anymore.
That's
Unclicked.
So I was like, but
Unclicked,
yeah, unclicked, yeah. But then you're like, I was like, and I'm like, most stores you have to go somewhere else to get the 40 and bigger, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like, so I started going pretty hard.
and then Interbike happens.
Yeah.
You show up.
People
you're
thought thought I was sick.
Yo, you're ripped and in shape, and I remember everyone like, how did you get there? How did you do that? You're like, move more, eat less. Like,
Robbie
pretty-
was like, "What's the secret?" I was like, "Eat less, move more." I was like- but then I was also young too, so your metabolism, like, I cut out what I was doing and started
Still
jogging
like-
and stuff,
yeah,
and then it was like
35,
boom, like yeah.
What year was that?
I was still in Vancouver when I got real big.
You hadn't moved to LA yet?
No.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah,
No.
because I remember you coming down filming for On the
Yeah.
Clock, and you're like, this
Yeah.
was 2006, and you're like, this might be
What?
my last part,
Yeah.
because you were struggling bad on
Yeah, I
on
was
those
struggling.
filming
Yeah, those trips are hard.
Yeah.
And then I came down, and then we did that, and I went home, and I was like, fuck, I lost like 6 pounds on that trip. I was like, okay, let's just like keep that going, like, and it was getting hard, like
Yeah.
absolutely.
You were
It
up to
was
240?
but like 238 was my max, I think.
And what do you walk around at usually?
Like comfortably 200.
Got it.
But like when.
You're 200 right now.
Well, I'm probably a little more. Let's
I mean, I was saying I was gonna go less. I was thinking I thought you were like
that's the little
185.
thing.
Yeah, 180.
But like when
120,
I had my knee, well, even in Norco, when I was living down in Southern California, like I got down to like a fit 180, and that was like, but I can't maintain that.
But you showed
Like-
up in California.
Oh
fit,
yeah,
so
yeah,
that was
yeah.
like
Yeah, I was
your
still
riding
living
career
in.
had like a second
Yeah,
wind on
yeah,
that
that
one.
was like
Yeah.
it was almost a rebirth for me, honestly. Like, and then like certain things that were hard just felt easy again. I'm like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah, that's the sleeveless
Yeah,
phase. You're like, I look
yeah,
good. Look
yeah,
good.
yeah. But then like so it's like that was a little bit of rebirth, and then like fuck, you're in California, you gotta look good, right? Like,
Isn't your wife named Porsche too?
Porsche, yeah.
Porsche, yeah. So you're like, my wife's named Porsche. I live in California.
I look like a caravan.
yeah, Porsche and caravan.
Jesus. I was gonna say minivan.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, it's you just go and check for so long, and then you wake up one day and you're like, what the hell, like.
Yeah, because you can see from On the Clock to your
Yeah.
next all the web edits.
Yeah.
So like when we filmed that split edit, that was some
Oh
of my
yeah,
favorites.
That was one of my favorite parts.
Which
too.
one's that one?
It's on my YouTube. Like
That
I
was-
uploaded recent. Just if you
It-
do my name and then Jason Enns.
It was just
Ryan
that,
Disjoint,
and that,
yeah,
that was
but-
one where it was just fun.
Dude, we went
Like-
out and you lived down the street from
Yeah.
me, so it was just
Where were you living?
He was at Corey's house. I was in his old house.
yeah, Bowen's. I lived at Bowen's house.
When I first
but
when I
this is
first
just
moved
so
into
fun.
his old house,
Is that Heath?
he
Okay.
had come hang out, and then I think he forgot that he didn't live there. So it'd be like, we'd be getting ready to go to bed. I'm like, He's like, oh yeah,
Riverside did.
yeah.
It's right down the street from
This-
Twin Palms.
This is a perfect
Shout
time
out to
capsule.
The
Joe.
size
Joey.
of that head on Joey.
This was the perfect time capsule for riding for us at that time, I think.
Who filmed this?
Paul Mastroni.
Mastroni?
Yeah. So we just
Oh,
I remember I got like a few clips, and then you were like,
Yeah.
I have a few clips,
Yeah.
so I'm like, we should.
I'm like, split sounds way better than full.
Oh yeah, we need half the clips. Like, yeah. So that was some of my favorite times in Corona and riding and filming with you. And
oh my god, look at all these spots we used to
God,
ride.
invert.
dude, when Jason moved down, that like he was spot guy, and that just because I was riding with dirt jumpers all the time. Then he moved down, and I was like, yes.
I was just so excited to be here. I'd go out and just drive around, like pick a zone, and just go into every schoolyard, go behind every building, and like I love that as much as the riding itself.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It
and
seemed like a lot of people when
and it was self-serving because I'm like, if I can find the cool spot, I can do the easy thing.
Mm-hmm.
If no one's been there yet, I can do the easy move, and like instead of having to go to the spot where everyone's been and do the hard thing.
yeah.
That's something
I guess I'll go to Rincon.
Exactly. I think I'm never going to be that guy, so I'm like, if I can find the cool spot that no one's seen yet, yeah.
That was a night after Jason's house, and then we went out and filmed. So. But it was also probably 103 degrees.
Yeah, you were probably like 40 attempts in on something, but still.
Oh, that's the pull you got.
Yeah,
You rode real good.
yeah.
I lost what I was going to say.
This is all
I'm gonna have
basically
to-
right around the house. So.
Biz, you're one of the most underrated raiders.
Underrated.
What was that?
Underrated riders. Underrated.
This is one of
like
my
a-
favorite clips.
Dude, that was
too.
Yeah.
That was good.
Oh, that was sick.
So what is Biz was a blender or something?
Yeah, I was
Underrated raider?
I think for me, Biz is one of the most underrated riders that have been so good.
This
for
is
so long.
you've always been so good at fence rides, and
Yeah.
I thought they were the most sketchiest.
I love
things
chain
ever.
link, man.
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah.
Oh, that day.
Was I there for that one?
No, Z shot that though.
No.
Look at those people. I would have quit if those people were watching me.
I think I was there when you wanted to do it or something.
Is this the one with the curb thing to the hop over at the end?
I think that's it.
Yeah, that. Dude, because I thought that FEMA was broken for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say a lot of dudes when they moved here, like outside pros, they enjoy California, but then they also like lament all the, they're like blah, blah, blah.
I loved it, man.
I felt like
But
you loved it.
I loved where I ended up.
Mm-hmm.
Like people don't like Riverside and that stuff, but I felt like
It was great.
it was
man. I loved
great.
it.
Like and we weren't. There wasn't anyone trying to do what we were doing at the time.
Like,
I mean, there's a few people, but it
Z
wasn't.
would be bummed if he had to come out to Corona or Norco.
Yeah,
He'd be like,
Z came out and shot. I took him.
I did
up.
not go out there very
I
often.
Yeah,
took,
exactly.
Z came out to shoot me one day. I took him to Joshua Tree. I'm like, I told him, I'm like, oh, I got this curb cut over this guardrail and grind into a ditch. He's like, sounds cool. I show him the pic. And he shows up at my house and
Get
2
to
hours,
the
two
way.
hours later in the car. But I'm like, no, it's going to be
Jason's packing a cooler.
because I'm like, he ain't going to come if I don't,
If you tell him, yeah, he's not gonna
Yeah,
go.
so-
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I love being out there because it's just like way less hectic, and you can get
Dude,
like
it is.
you can go down a gravel road. That's not happening in Orange County, you know. Like it just felt more the Wild West than what was going on.
What about the scene? I mean, obviously, like at that point, you had like Lonnie's trails, and you had
This was right at when that
the end of it.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
yeah, so like he moved down, and I was riding with like dirt riders.
No, what's the brick one?
Paxton.
Oh, Paxton. Yeah, that was
Paxton.
gone. That was gone.
That was
That was gone in right when he moved.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was
yeah,
at the last session.
Yeah, exactly. But I was riding with like dirt riders and contest riders, so they didn't really give a fuck about going out. Like Dillwad, Bowen, they didn't really care. You know what I mean? And then when he moved down,
I bought
it was
Dillwad
like-
sometime too because I was like, you can do some street shit
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
And like,
Yeah.
But he just opened up. Like
Yeah.
it was so sick.
I just
having a
love
partner
going
for a
out,
few
man.
years.
Just driving around. Like, what's behind? It kills me when I'm out and I'm like, I don't know what's behind the building. I'm like, I have to know.
Yeah.
At the time, I had to know, so I just.
Does Portia understand?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Dude, I had Vancouver. I had a book. I knew everything.
Yeah.
I knew every school. I knew every.
Remember when you'd have like a Thomas
Yeah,
guide?
yeah, and I'd
Just
have
like
it
a
marked
Bible.
off, and if there was stuff there, I'd have everything, and I would just pick a page and look at everything.
Yeah.
Go behind every industrial building. Go like.
My girlfriend thinks it's nuts.
I love that shit.
My wife does
And I'm
too.
like, I realize
I'm like, I'm never gonna come back into this neighborhood. Like,
Yeah.
let me just fucking
But
go
I-
down here.
Yeah. Never coming back.
I realize like I'm past that age now because me in my 86 Chevy, I roll behind a building, I'm getting arrested.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no explaining what I'm doing anymore.
Hey, that was a thing with us. I remember with you especially.
With you especially.
Well, no, because of the Canada stuff, right?
Yeah.
So where we were like, we stopped riding schoolyards.
Yeah.
We were like, there's
I
no
just
reason
hit-
for
I
a
hit the-
40-year-old
I
man
hit-
to be in a
I
schoolyard.
hit the age there would be no way to explain.
Yeah.
At least California, like, they know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But, like, where I'm at in Washington, no one's going to understand why I'm in a schoolyard.
There's no way to explain
like,
it.
and I'm like, I know I feel young. I know what I look like.
But
to the cop that rolls up.
That's definitely a dropping off or picking up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's getting picked up.
Yeah.
Especially when you're like
Yeah.
10 years older than
Yeah.
a police officer that
Yeah.
talks.
Yeah.
It's funny though how that changes. How like the thing that you would
Dude,
do the most, all of a sudden you're like, I don't think we can do that anymore.
It would keep me up at night not knowing what was
Yeah.
behind buildings. Like,
Yeah. No.
It
It's
keeps-
such a. I mean, honestly, like, I don't know. This is going off the rails here, but like when you go on vacation with your girl now, you get a whole other
Yeah.
view of the world,
Yeah.
and you get to enjoy. So you're like, damn,
But-
look at that.
But you're also
spot.
like
Yeah.
how
But it's
boring,
like-
Yeah.
how boring it is. Sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, you don't do anything.
yeah.
but
I'm
you
like,
see
still-
anything.
but I'm
we
like-
enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's
But then you're like, oh, babe, let's go behind this building. And she thinks it's something. And no, I just want to look if there's a rail out.
My chick thinks it's weird when I'm like, oh, pull around this way. It's a shortcut. Watch out, there's a crack coming out. She's like, how do you know
Yeah.
this?
Dude, I love knowing
Or
everything.
she
You know,
knows, I
like-
know her, because arguably, I think in Southern California, at least not now, but years ago, I feel
was
like
time
you've
period.
been through every single
Yeah.
street,
Yeah.
every alleyway, and you're like, I just know where everything is.
I always felt like that was my duty. If I'm going to live here, I need to know. And I'm like, oh, the freeway's clogged. Oh, yeah, I'll zip through here. And I'm like, you don't turn your GPS on or anything. You know where to. I love that shit.
too good. Lotek, we kind of touched on it, but I mean, I feel like that was like a good moment in time.
That was
You know, like where
dude,
I feel like you really fit. You really fit in.
Lotek Vancouver, the video was crazy,
Yeah.
but that was like, those were my big years too. I was
That's
like,
one
I was struggling a little bit.
That's one of Dak's first trips,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
and like
yeah.
that's when Chase got on and stuff. Chase was a new guy, and I'm like,
Hawk or
Yeah, Hawk.
D-Hawk?
and I was like, I don't really get it.
This is all
and then
mixed,
like,
right?
and then Chase came on the Lotek trip, and I saw him ride the first day. I was like, oh, I get it. I was like, holy shit, man! Like he rode Surrey, Bear Creek Park. I was like, oh yeah, I get it. Like this is.
Did you get that same feeling on this being around Dak?
That's what I was
like,
gonna-
kind
Yeah.
of like with that. Oh,
No,
dude,
when Dak
was
did the nose, like it took a lot, but he was doing, and that's when you're like, okay, like we're gonna have to start doing some shaking it up a little bit here.
I think you deserve credit in the sense of like being, you know, effectively you're the old guy on this
Yeah,
team.
oh, absolutely.
You're
At
the
this
old
point,
guy
yeah.
on demolition
Yeah.
too. You're
Yeah.
the old guy on volume. Like,
I don't know. I just
I
fucking,
can't tell you how
just
it makes
love,
me hear that.
I just love it too
Effectively.
much, man. I don't know.
but I mean, like, dude, you're in there. You still
Yeah.
belonged. At no
Yeah.
point was I like,
No.
Jason
Yeah.
doesn't belong.
Yeah.
Look at it, you know, like what you were talking about earlier. Like he's got to step aside for somebody
Yeah.
new.
No.
Like
No.
never, ever.
people just want to see you ride.
Yeah.
I definitely remember there was some video where you did a nose wheelie across like a kind of a curved
Yeah,
boomerang shape
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And I remember seeing that and going, oh, Jason,
I'm starting to try and
he's
do.
made the jump.
Yeah.
To figure it out.
No,
He's the jump I was never going to
That's
make.
like I start thinking, I'm like, oh, maybe I need one of these in my part, you know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and you, yeah, there, Chase,
Fucking
man.
Hoder.
young Hoder. Hoder did the manual derail.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
one of the gnarly. That's the most, and it just the clip goes by in passing. It's such a gnarly move.
God, and you're on a trip. Look at those fucking
That Aiken?
Yeah.
Yeah,
With
yeah.
Aiken, Chase, Dak, you, and Ian Schwartz.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I'll be in the van, guys.
Yeah.
See when you get out.
And that was Dak too, right?
Yeah, that bowl's so that bowl's so bad.
That part gave you
Yeah,
shocks.
the electric lines. You could feel
You
the
touch your bike and you'd be like,
because it was high voltage
Oh.
electric lines. So like the longer you sat there, your bike would charge up, and you feel in your brake levers.
Maybe
and
that's
stuff.
what got you on the plane.
Yeah, man.
Charged you up.
Static discharge.
And this is also a time period where like Rich's editing style and the way
Yeah.
he put things together.
It was a good.
just,
It was a
like,
good time.
resonated. Yeah.
it was a good time. Like Lotek had a vibe, and I think that's why it did so good.
Yeah.
and you
And,
had
like
two
should-
shoes with them.
I had a lot of years of the
Damn.
shoes.
The
I'd say,
Delta, the Trooper.
yeah. No, I had the Delta, and then I went to.
Oh,
I think
Eddie-
it was always,
Eddie was on
Yeah,
this.
Eddie was on the trip.
Yeah. I texted the number that I had for Eddie recently, and I was like, Eddie? It was just right away. No, and I'm like, could still be Eddie.
I was gonna say that could be Eddie. Or
I was like,
That's probably it. Yeah, that's funny.
He had my number saved. He was like, nope.
Yeah,
Eddie and I were always super cool.
He was always one of the.
Him and I really got along more than I think people would expect us to get along.
He was one of the younger guys all the time that I was still like, for lack of a better word, starstruck.
Yeah.
Like, because he was Eddie, and then we did the Lotek San Francisco, and we were like staying at his house, and I'm like, oh man.
If you can change all of BMX to run your seat like you did,
yeah,
doing something right.
And I feel like he did the same. He was on the same mantra of your Road Fools thing, where he's like, "I'm just not going to say anything." So then people are like, "He is analyzing everybody.
Yeah.
He's cool as fuck because he's not talking. He doesn't feel the need to talk, which is an important thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think people underestimate. Which I
don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you definitely never subscribed to it, and neither did I. So I need to shut the fuck up.
It was cool, like seeing all these. Like I've been riding this park since the day it opened, and then you bring these guys here, and you're like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Like you kind of get stuck in a groove sometimes doing your thing at your local spots, and then these guys come, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that connected to that, and I didn't know that.
Dude.
So is there when it comes, like if we watch that old stuff and you're doing the fucking X up nose picks on ramps, and then you can still do this shit, right?
Yeah.
But you obviously choose not to in this environment.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even a thought for me because I'm like, at this point, I'm like, I've progressed past.
Yeah.
I've progressed. We're probably it's regressed, but like I had no interest in that. If we'd go to a mini ramp, I'm like, yeah, fuck, I'll stay in the car,
Yeah, do an ice grind for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Not
so
gonna do
I wasn't even messing
the
with
switch-footed rocket ice peg grind.
Even though it's still so ridiculous,
Yeah.
but it hasn't come around yet
Yeah.
to where you think it's good enough, but it was
How many times do you
beyond
think
good enough.
How many times do you think you changed like what you were into? Where you're like, oh, I'm a street dude, I'm a park dude, I'm
There's
pool guy.
I mean, there was years it was just like pools and like I don't ever think it was conscious. It just kind of in like. There'd be phases where I'd get bored with what I was doing, and then I'd just not ride for a while, and then it's like you go ride this pool, and you're like, wow, that was fun. I wonder if there's any more in this neighborhood. Like, so like that would bring the spark back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that was fun today. Let's do that again tomorrow. Like it wasn't a conscious like I need to switch up what I'm doing. I just.
What year was Jason Enns' dirt jumping year?
Because I jumped in Erie. Yeah, I jumped in Erie a bit when I was staying with Bennett. No, Bucks, the local trail Bucks.
You went through the 6?
Yeah, I went through the 6. Yeah, and I jumped at 60s a little bit.
When you jumped, you weren't jumping.
Well, jumping.
Yeah,
jumping.
Lip landing.
I was never a jump guy.
Yeah.
Like I did in like.
Your turndowns are getting better.
I mean, there was a time when they were, but now they're back. Now I'm back to square.
Almost
square
180. Almost 180.
Yeah, I had some good ones.
Was there ever a time period where like an extended? You said you stopped riding for a little bit. Would it be like I'm done, or was it just like I'm kind of bored right now? I'm not really feeling.
I think it was more. Yeah, I was never like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah,
but I just wasn't interested sometimes, and like because I wasn't interested in what it was. And I needed it to be something else, and sometimes you don't know how to get it there. Mm-hmm. So it was like, I would just kind of, and I'm like, fuck, we've been doing it so long. When you're doing it for money, it gets hard sometimes.
Do you think your interest was because you couldn't perform in that arena, that it just sort of turned you?
Probably a little bit of that.
Not because you weren't good enough, but because you couldn't perform the way you wanted to perform.
Yeah.
So
probably
you're
a little bit of
felt
that.
disinterested,
Well, yeah, that's a hard one when you're like when you go in to do the things you want to do and you can't do them. It's pretty easy to put it down at that point.
I think that's a hard one for a lot of people.
It's really easy to stop at that point.
Yeah.
Like we've always said, man, a good flat tire will end a career these days.
Yeah. I guess I'm retired.
Thank God. Have you ever done that one? Purpose flat? Oh, I've done it. Go around the corner. I've done it.
Yeah. You learned it from Edwin?
He's done that. Yeah, he used to do that too.
That's really funny.
Or sprinklers would come on. I'm like, fucking thank you.
Yes. You get to the spot and there's a car. You're like,
fuck, thank God.
What It's so funny. Like I'm thinking back to that time I witnessed it from Edwin, and then I realized like a week later or something, I was like, I don't think he got a flat. Yeah,
it's good though.
Because I think he found something later,
but
and
I'm
then kind of like he's like, I fixed it when you weren't here.
Yeah,
I'm like, what?
Like you think about that, it's like easier to do that than say you don't want to do it. Like to be in that position's hard. Like
or get hurt doing it. 'Cause you just can't be.
If you're not in the mindset, like especially you're doing something dangerous, like
and you're being paid to do it.
Yeah, and you need it.
Just got to know the TM doesn't have tubes in the van.
We always used to, when would figure out lines, I'm like, oh, good time killer. You get a line, you're like, this is going to eat like 30 seconds.
I always did. I counted that.
Yeah, you'd make sure you had a couple of those where you're like, this thing's cool and this thing's cool, and I'm going to do some stuff.
Bunch of horse shit in the middle.
Eat a bunch of time. Video's 3 minutes and
Stu's
4 tricks.
Yeah.
Stu's over there like, motherfuckers.
I never did that stuff with you.
You got it. You have to be at some.
Filmed you guys.
You have to be
at us, right?
You have to be at some point.
The Activision trip with you, so I filmed some stuff with you.
Oh, okay.
Skate park.
Okay.
And just like a road fool, like the Road Fools 12.
But those are like.
You must have filmed somebody where they're like, I'm going to connect this to this, and you're like, get the fuck out of here.
That's happened.
Like, that's not a lie.
That's not a lie.
Like, come on. You're like, maybe 2 separate tricks, but no.
We should get a Stu podcast one of these days.
Dude, I was going to say,
I mean, you're here for 12 days, so.
Yeah.
Not this trip, but it'll happen.
Yeah, you said that. You also said that last trip, too, just so you, so.
But I'm doing one this trip, but just with Max.
You are going to sit down, yeah. All right, okay. Well, Max better
shout
be a
out
good
to
talker
Max
because
Miller,
I'm gonna
by the way.
start-
That last edit was insane.
Hey,
Yeah, shout out.
Yeah.
he does not watch many edits.
Yeah,
That
I do
means
not
a lot
watch many,
when you
and then
watch
He's never seen Criminal Mischief.
Yeah,
so.
and I mean, just seeing the clip, it
Opening
felt
part
like
and forward. Who has it?
it felt like watching like, oh, this is like a Van Homan part or like a big part that you would watch. Like that part could have been in Criminal Mischief forward at the time relative to what it was, and you'd be like, oh, this is the last part. This dude is the next dude forever.
He's a dude.
Yeah.
And Stu edited it amazing. You know, like him and I have talked about it a bunch, but like the big long intro and made it feel super, super important. You know, like when you got through, you're like, damn, like that was.
I mean, I'm a fan of showing crashes for a minute before
3 minutes.
So,
3 minutes.
Yeah. It was heavy. My wife came and checked on me. I was in here screaming.
I did a couple of those too, man.
She's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." I
love videos where you think you're like, that's the ender, and then you're like, no, there's another part.
Yeah.
Should we talk about Ice Tooney?
Sure.
What do we say?
What was he in?
You tell me. Volume on the clock.
Yeah.
Man, you had pyrotechnics.
You
you had girls.
Who wrote that rap?
It's actually a Canadian rapper, and I just used the lyrics.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Didn't know that.
Copyright infringement.
Yeah, probably, I can't even remember his name now.
That rapper didn't say, you get double when I touch the bike.
No, he said, yeah, but he said something similar, I just went, I was like, oh, that's a good line.
First to last.
How did you feel about doing that, though? Because I remember I originally wanted the skateboard one.
Yeah.
And then I had to make up some shit that I wasn't happy with. And then
yours was fun, though. You filmed at Glenn's, right? Like,
yeah, but it was just long and drawn out, and it shouldn't be. But
yeah.
How'd you feel?
So good.
How'd you feel about it coming out, though, like afterwards? Were you like kind of like...
I was always on board for that shit. I didn't really care, you know? Like,
let's pause and watch it first.
It was just fun.
I don't know how many.
I mean, probably didn't age well.
I mean, you probably grew up, some of your favorite videos had skits.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's why you did it. And you're like, you're like, yeah, we're doing it. Like,
but when you do
shout
it,
out to Curtis Elwell, too.
Yeah.
Speaking of underrated bike
oh,
riders.
my God. This part is so good. This song is so good.
Yeah. This is another Glenn video, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Glenn said he's going to do the podcast soon, too.
Happy.
Oh, yeah.
Those are some bigger days right there. That was my local skate park.
Ice Tooney killed up a lot of time in this
Yeah,
place.
he did. He's a good time eater.
Damn, you talk fast there.
Is that... oh, no. All right. Sorry. I fucked this up.
We went to the mall, and
Whose car was that?
I worked at a wheel shop at the time. I don't know. It's fun. It's cheesy, but it's fun.
That's a quality studio.
That's Glenn's production value.
So there was a professional tyro pet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This
Is that all at the igloo?
The pyro is all at the igloo. Yeah. Because the guy that ran the guy that had the space at the igloo was a special effects guy.
Oh, really?
So he did the explosions and everything.
See, this part was good too, and I know you didn't like it.
Broke my tailbone there.
God damn.
It was all right.
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Beat Asado to the 50 Cent song, though.
Yeah.
Look at your nose.
See?
There it is.
Ah.
That's when you launched your bike, like,
Yeah.
for not pulling that one.
Oh.
Look at that spot. I feel like you and Mike Hoder are the only people to rap to your own video part song.
That's good company, though.
It is.
That's a good company.
Yeah.
I can handle that.
So is this a mix? Like, were you in a lot of Vancouver?
I was coming
obviously,
down to film.
Okay.
They were filming trips, so I wasn't living.
bouncing around.
Yeah, I wasn't
timeline a
living
little
down
bit.
south yet.
Whoa.
Yeah, through the crazy, because I'm like, we were talking about time meters. I'm like, I have to do something here. Like, and the bar was probably the sketchiest thing.
Jeez. You threw the
buddy bar. Yeah, I
top-handed
did,
bar.
yeah.
It's like, all right, Mike, put on a 30-pound backpack and do a bar spin. So everybody had skits though, right?
Yeah,
That
everyone
was
has
it,
skits, yeah.
Like, was it Brian was on the road bike, or
He was
is
on a
that
pizza guy.
Pizza give,
Yeah, he was
sign
like-
spinner. Yeah.
And then Nate Morshans was the best. I wanted the pro skate
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
and he got it. And he had like Bam and Tony Hawk.
Yeah,
like,
this is so
being like,
good.
Nate could have made it if he just
Yeah.
stuck with it. And all that shit. Yeah.
Was that your hookup there, rooftop?
I'm assuming so. I don't remember.
It is.
So you said you don't like this section.
That's all right.
It's just kind of
yeah.
mid-pack in the.
Yeah.
Is this your least
You've had a
favorite
lot
video
of
part?
video parts.
What's your least favorite?
Fuck, I
Oh.
mean, they're all just. I mean, time capsules. You know, I wouldn't say.
Yeah.
But there's got to be ones that you're like, I don't care.
But you appreciate it more
Yeah.
as you get.
These are bigger. These are big years too. So I was struggling all here.
I feel like there's times where you're like, in the moment, you're pissed about certain things, and you
Yeah.
forget what those things
Yeah.
are eventually. Oh, there was real. That was.
Yeah,
I was like Swamp
This for the
Fest last
wall.
week.
Yeah.
Oh, is this for the wall?
Yeah, I made that the other day. So that's going to be.
oh shit! There we go.
For a screenshot,
All
just
right.
with the cell phone.
Put that in front of the
Why
camera.
did you shrink it? Why does he have such short legs?
Jason was bigger at the time.
Those were both Red Bull girls from Whistler because
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
shortly after Elevation.
Yeah.
And Glenn had talked to them, and he's like, "Hey," and like the girls ended up being kind of bummed because they thought it was real. They thought
It was a real music
They thought it
video?
was a
Yeah,
real
yeah.
music video, and they thought I was a real rapper. And then when they realized it was a joke, they were like a little bit bummed out because they thought we were like going
They were
out
gonna make
after
it,
and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, like,
I think he's sagging his pants, so that's why. 'Cause the other girls their legs look normal.
Can I get a like a black pin, Stu? Just because I'm gonna forget that I want Ice Tooney's signature while I have the opportunity.
I've never signed Ice Tooney. Do I sign it as me or Tooney?
It's up to you.
Both.
I don't. Maybe check it. Make sure it works on a regular piece of paper.
Oh, that's a tiny little guy there.
Oh yeah, don't use that one.
Yeah, that's not good.
What's that?
No, you don't want
Is this
that.
an actual? This is like a
That looks like one that's a
It's
dry
just
erase.
like dry erase.
Yeah.
It may. I don't know. There you go.
That's
See if
the
that
one.
one works. All of them are grab bags. though.
Do you want to teach him how to de-interlace, Stu?
I don't know how to sign. I've never signed as a
Practice.
You can say
No one's ever asked me.
Make sure it works on the paper though.
Yeah.
Before. There we go. Yeah, it's chill.
Maybe I'm gonna think about it. A little.
All right, think about it. Think about
We're
it.
gonna do it.
Um,
Spill beer all
Yeah,
over.
don't-
Yeah, there you go.
Spit up beer.
Biz is like, don't ruin this.
That cost me $3 at
That's pretty,
Kinko's.
that's pretty awesome.
moving out of California, I guess. I don't know. When
Well,
was
yeah, I got
was
some
it?
more here. Hold on.
Yeah.
We're
what we
back.
got.
Let's get back on track. This happened before. So what? At some point, we're riding all these pools, and we are feeling older than we probably are, and we started getting back into all our old bikes.
Yeah.
But I started collecting Bhaskar bikes, but then you started collecting them and then putting them together to ride.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
That's just fun. It's so nerdy, but it's fun. Like, and it's like all the bikes you want. Like when you first picked up the Mag, you're like, whoa. And I'm like, you're never getting that bike, right? Like those first bikes you saw. So it's like kind of chasing that feeling. So just been doing that. But I'm like, the point is being able to ride them for me. Like,
Yeah. How hard is it riding those old bikes?
I mean,
Geometry wise.
I think it's not as bad as people think. Because you do 20 minutes on it and it feels normal.
Yeah, it is.
Because you're like,
Now, everyone thinks
Yeah.
also is like, your bike's for 70 pounds. Next
Yeah.
post, 85
but you're
pounds.
like, you look at the bikes these guys rode, like Hoffman doing 900s. I'm like, that bike was garbage.
19
Kmart
Yeah,
bike.
yeah. So it's a 19-inch top tube, 15, 16-inch rear end. You're like, none of that shit mattered. The equipment didn't matter. Like, you still could do all the things.
Jeez.
Like,
Yeah, that's why I like when people are like, they're so concerned about their
Yeah.
bike. You're like, it's
but then you're like, yeah, no, I like a half a degree on my head too.
Yeah,
but then,
get the fuck
But then
outta
that
here.
depends on what size of rear tire you ride because
Oh,
that changes the whole bike. So
my
I'm
back
like,
end's too long. I can't
yeah,
manual.
I
Like,
don't
shut
know.
the. Fuck
I don't
up.
know. I'm like, Tiger Woods will beat you with clubs from
Yeah.
the 1970s. You know?
Exactly.
Do you get any backlash from the old school community riding them?
Oh yeah, yeah. They hate that shit. My favorite's buying stuff that they've kept brand new forever and then
And they
put it on
see
and
you
use it.
riding
Yeah,
it.
using it.
That's
I love
hilarious.
that shit. I love that shit. Yeah, this is all Northern California. I had the little indoor ramp there.
So you were in Northern California
Yeah.
for how many years?
3 years.
Okay. So you went Riverside, Northern California, and
Yeah.
now Northern Washington.
Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, we bought
Yeah.
land in Northern California. So the first 18 months we lived in a travel trailer while we built the house and stuff.
Like, how big was it?
18 months.
It was 250
big.
square feet. 250 square feet with 200-pound pit bulls. We
Dude,
lived
me
in
and-
that 18 months. Yeah, 3-minute hot shower max.
Shout out to Porsche.
yeah, absolutely.
Me and Rooftop stayed there for 2
Absolutely.
days, and I was like, we're too close.
Did we stay in the trailer?
Yeah, you guys stayed in the
yeah,
trailer,
yeah.
and then like the heat didn't turn on that first
Dude.
day.
Oh, it was cold.
And like, hey, welcome to my life. Like,
Those little pegs.
yeah,
So this is the house you built.
yeah, we built the
Oh,
house. We
sick.
bought bare land.
All right,
and
hold
stuff
on.
there,
Let's
so-
appreciate
This barn was there. They're already on the property.
Oh,
The
barn.
building was there. Yeah,
Okay.
there was no house or any livable space, but
Dude,
Where-
this is a video part on
I
these
know.
Instagram.
The log.
God. Does that...
yeah, I had a bunch of.
The ice to stop is.
I know you didn't
fucking
do that.
I don't know. I can't go fakey with the push through. I love how it looks, but I have to stop. Like
Is you
That one is the one that kind of.
you doing these?
my arm's
like,
still fucked.
Does it,
Yeah.
you doing these? Does it come back like fairly easy? Like Blyther can still blast in it
Yeah.
for a quarter, or like Wilkerson. Like
Some
doing-
of it does, and some of it doesn't. And when it does, it's awesome. And when it doesn't, it sucks.
This one.
because still in your mind you're doing it, but
This one, I'll never. I can't. That's amazing.
I owed that one to Nate Powell because he did the 270 double peg back over. So when I pulled that, he's like, I'm doing this. And then that was another one. He was in like 1,200 tries or something, whatever it
Oh,
was.
really?
So I was like, okay, cool. Like,
How many tries that take you?
I think I was in just shy of 1,800.
the no-hander.
No, the 270.
But what about the no-hander?
Oh, okay.
The no-hander took me. I couldn't say tries on that. It was just like
It's this one, right?
This
The
Yeah,
270.
that one.
Okay.
that one. I was in almost
1,648
I was almost
tries.
Yeah, there you go. Each session I would mark how many tries the GoPro, however many clips are on the GoPro,
Yeah.
I marked down. So
Do you know?
So why did it go from no bikes to mountain bike only and no pegs?
I don't know. It's just fun. Everyone was talking shit about people on mountain bike and stuff. And I was like,
Mountain bikes
it's
only.
just fun. Northern California and stuff. So.
It feels like lately you've transcended this from Jason into this mystical old man bike ramp rider. And when
Everyone's like, I can't believe you do this on the old bikes. And like most of these bikes are like just modern versions of
Yeah.
like, because that's a colony. like just dressed up as an Ozone. That was the
Yeah.
it's like, but it was the Colony remake of the Ozone. But like,
I mean, just the bars alone
Yeah.
and stuff. Like,
Dude, I don't know. How about when
yeah, UH.
I tried a simple disaster on an S&M
because I have the
from
the
like
ye-
'93.
The yellow Holmes. He came and he just went to do a disaster and clipped the back tire because the back
It's
end's
so
so
long.
long. He clipped the back tire on the Copins.
this one,
Yeah, that bike.
it looks long.
Dude, I deck checked. Like I'm like,
it's so bad.
all right, you have your fun.
Do you fuck up? You have like the dirt Diacomp or whatever it is,
Yeah,
like
Comp
that.
3.
Yeah, Comp 3, which is like $120 tire,
Which
or
probably
something
only
you buy
gets
it.
60 psi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you bring the bar?
dry
with you?
rotted?
Yeah, I have everything. Yeah,
So
I
did
brought
you-
everything.
Back to what I was saying is, do you feel that like that? There's like this thing where now, because I joke about it. I called Jason the West Coast Joe Rich because he just has to do like a 1-footer and everyone shoots their load.
I don't know
everywhere.
about that, but
So
I'll take it.
You like
I'll
that?
take
Everybody ice toonies all
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, everyone I see. That's
for
how it feels like
everybody.
you. What I mean, and that's like it's not. Like, I'm not saying a bad thing. It's like people are like Jason Enns fans.
I think-
and you've turned it into this new sort of genre you
Put it
have
on,
in your
put it
own
on the
barn.
horse. That's one of my favorite vids.
What's that one's name?
Skittles.
Do you want to talk about you being a mini horse trainer?
Oh, she loves that.
Was Porsche into horses before you guys
when
moved
she
to
was
Norco?
When she was a kid, yeah,
Oh,
but
okay,
like
yeah.
that, Norco just provided the
Weirdo.
opportunity.
Oh, you wrote weirdo.
Crandall, the great bottle. Weirdo.
I could watch mini horse videos all day.
I know, me too. I got to capitalize on that.
Pit bulls and mini horses.
Pit bulls and mini horses, and now I'm like a Frenchy guy.
Oh.
But you've created this sort of like your own genre.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also like keep them wanting more. Because if I was doing this every day, no one would care.
Yeah.
Right. So it's
No, it's good. I was looking at you like you're fucking right. You know, like
I like post once every 2
day
months. People are gonna
188
love it.
post
Like,
But you're
leaf blowing my
Yeah, but
pony
you're
horse.
also
Yes.
like you're not doing what I'm doing, which every 2 months I post a tabletop.
yeah, but
You know, you're doing like really
legitimate moves.
and
I
cool
mean,
stuff that
when
people don't do.
When
you
I'm
know?
your age, I'll probably be doing the same. So
If you had some pro design knee pads on and a few
Oh
other
my
things,
God, you wouldn't be able to tell what
Yeah.
this was.
I'll play the preview for the samurai video coming.
Oh, the new samurai video. You seen the preview?
I have not seen this.
Yeah.
This is clearly
Turn it
old.
up. This is on one of our trips by ourselves, probably. Oh, this is that trip.
Yeah,
I
we
know. It's pretty good.
Did you edit this, Mike?
Yeah.
We got kicked out of that place. We're building a BMX track next year.
can't wait to sign up for the races.
Yeah, I know, man. First bash guard slide on your caveman was laser.
It was.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Hood River. Or not Hood River.
Remember when you erased that photo?
When's this dropping, Mike?
You'll see at the end.
Oh, that park is good.
Oh, it's so fun.
Yeah.
You could spend a week at that park.
Yeah.
I think it has a date when it's coming out here at the end.
Can't wait.
That was,
Too
and here's the funny thing is, that's every clip we filmed.
Yeah, that was there.
That was hard to make it that far.
Yeah. It was. We have no more clips. The
That's
trailer.
every
This is
clip.
the bottom one in the middle. That was our trip to Arizona to try to get the Predator.
This one.
Nope.
Yep.
Oh, that one, yeah.
This is as close as I got. Drove all the way there 2 days.
Look at that. Wired in headphones.
Yeah.
That's mental English.
Just
right there.
hot. You could see the hot breath.
Belt was
Too many.
unclicked.
That belt was unclicked.
Almost.
Not bad. I mean,
That was really close.
yeah.
But man, the pressure to drive to Arizona to do one trick, I'm glad I'm so happy I don't live like that.
Those days are gone.
I'm so happy.
All right, and then the big question. What's it like moving back to winter?
That's fuck. sucks.
You moved back. How'd that first winter go?
Were you done being a pro rider by the time you moved out of?
This is
California?
like 3 weeks ago.
Other than Southern California, yeah. Because I was working.
Because we didn't really
full-time
talk
and
about
stuff.
the move to NorCal.
Yeah.
I thought it was like,
Yeah, we're working full. I was working full time and stuff, and then we're at the same point. Like, well, we're not really having any benefits of living in Southern California,
Yeah.
so we're like.
I assume your girl was able to work at points.
Yeah, at
too.
this point, we had green cards and everything, so we're all good.
And you moved to Northern California to be closer to her dad.
Well, yeah,
right?
originally, but like we bought our house at the perfect time, so we're like we could sell this. And
If you bought in 2009 or 2008,
we bought 2011,
that's still good.
which was we did good.
Yeah.
So we're like
that place was a mess, and you
Yeah.
fixed
Oh,
it
yeah.
up.
Yeah,
immaculately, like
the house
Biz,
was
you're about to knock off Nyquist.
the house we bought was a write off. It took a lot of work, but
Oh,
like
wow. Yeah.
in the long run, we're like now we could take this and buy some acreage and have a little more space, but then But yeah, I was done being pro bike rider at that point. Absolutely.
Over Southern California, or it was just like,
But when you're just grinding in here, you're like, well, I could do this way cheaper somewhere. You can grind anywhere.
Especially if you have
Right?
nothing roots here. Like,
Yeah,
there's nothing.
Yeah, I
keeping
don't
here.
have anything keeping me here. We don't have family, and then we're like, well, Northern California is still California.
yeah.
And like Northern California vibes pretty awesome. Like I liked it a lot up there. We had a good spot.
Yeah, you had 5 acres.
We had 5 acres. It was nice. We had the ramp indoors, and
Yeah.
like, it was nice. Brand new house. Like it was a cool spot. And then COVID hit, and then we're like, it was fine being there, but then we're like, what are we doing here? We don't know it. We moved to California. We didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
Like, so we're just like, now it's just us at our place, which was fine. But I'm like, it wasn't sustainable, And like her family, my wife's family both got it and they almost died. She couldn't go home and visit or anything. And we're like, well, maybe we should think about in alluding to earlier where you're like, how was Portia with moving? Like, she was like, that was my dream, And she's like, yeah, let's go do it. And then my thing was over. So we're like, let's go back to your thing, Like,
It's a familiar story.
Yeah.
Brian Foster talked about it. He's like, we moved to California. We bought a house. We did it. It's over. Let's go back.
Yeah. And then we can do it cheaper and,
Closer to family.
Closer to family and have a network. We've had a better network in Washington than we would have ever had in Northern California. And so we're only an hour from Vancouver, so Vancouver people come, and I don't know, it's cool. Winter sucks. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
That's an adjustment, but I mean, is what it is.
But now you have like actual friends in that town.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Taj.
he lives
Taj
down the
moved,
street from
Taj
you,
moved
right?
in town.
Taj moves into my little town.
That's insane. Yeah.
You made reference to Taj earlier, and I was like, oh, that's crazy. He talks to Taj.
Yeah.
That I did not know.
Yeah, we have a little dinner club. We go for dinner and stuff on certain nights and stuff. It's fun. It's cool. And like he just bought a house, so he'll be around for a little bit. But yeah,
Who has a better tail whip?
Come on.
come on.
apples and
Look,
oranges.
don't be an asshole.
Hey, I am a podcast host.
What's the name of your ranch?
Pasture Prime.
That is the best
Pasture
one
Prime
ever.
Ranch.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So
And you figure you're there forever. Is that you think?
I don't think that's the plan.
Okay.
No, I think we'll. I mean, there's no more plan anymore. Let's see how the world goes.
How is the little? I mean, now that you have the ramp there, which is like, I feel like the ramp at Pasture Prime is
It's
a
cool.
little more. It's
not
this
indoors.
one. The one indoors was more like a private club.
Yeah.
And this one feels like you've opened it up to have kind of sessions and a little like
Yeah.
a crew.
Yeah, but also like half the time we were in Northern California was COVID, so we weren't really having people over or anything, right? But
Oh.
it's way nicer being outside, man. Like,
Wait, you had an edit of sorts, right?
yeah,
There
this
we
one.
go. That's what I was.
Yeah.
That's what I knew.
Yeah, Arian.
And you and Hoder was sitting there going, "Remember, Lotek, Vancouver."
I don't even feel like we. I don't even picture that we were the same people.
I know, it's
you
so
know what
funny,
I mean?
yeah.
Like it was just a different. This was all still. I was still working on all the new additions, but
Are
I
you gonna
didn't-
bowl the corners?
yeah, I got a couple little things I'm gonna
Yeah.
try and do. But yeah, eventually pull a couple corners. I got the corner. I didn't have the corner carve in there yet, but
Get the Canada flag on the barn in the background. So how does the S&M thing come about? So volume, are you ever officially off volume?
Yeah.
Or is it, and how does that end, I guess?
Not really.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like for
like there came a time where there's, Brian's like, there's just no more paycheck. And, and that's fine. Like, I get it. I'm 40 something. I fucking get it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a problem with that. And then it just kind of fades away, honestly. Like,
you don't want to ask for bikes anymore.
I don't ask for bikes.
He would give you one probably,
and like,
but
I don't really go through stuff. So I'm like, my bike's fine. And I rode the same up until last year. I had the same cranks on my bike since I rode for Demolition 2016. 10 years.
Yeah.
Like Brian hasn't been there for
Well, that too. That
like
too.
In
but
20 I think maybe 2016 would have been maybe the official end.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Bob's frame was coming out with T1, I'm like, oh, I want to ride your frame. And he's like, it took longer. So I got one of those in 2018, and I rode that till last summer.
Oh, okay.
6 years. So more than that, yeah.
Isn't it funny how long you can ride stuff when you don't
do anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, you ride it forever. So yeah, just kind of, and I was like, yeah, I'm like, T1's a cool company to support, like, especially if I'm gonna spend money on stuff, like.
Yeah. And then how does this S&M thing
so
come
you guys
about?
were, Stu and these guys were coming through for a jam in Canada, so they just stopped for a session, and then that all passed, and then I had like my birthday jam, the BMX Food guys come out for my birthday, and I don't know, maybe we should put that video on.
Yeah.
Disregard the name. It's Jason Enns, Welcome to Stranger.
You were on Stranger?
No.
It's a joke.
It is a joke. But so those guys come for my birthday, and then
so good.
Damn, you fit right in.
This is great, but this is just the vibes. Like, this is like dudes our age riding bikes now,
I like the chapters are I don't care.
Yeah, it's the bar now, right? So these guys just come out, and they're like, we're just going to come out for 4 days and ride bikes, and like, it was just fun. And then like, so Greg Henry is like, he's like, you should get some Merit stuff. I'm like, I don't really ask for anything, like,
yeah.
And then so he's like, I already talked to Mike. He's like, you can hook up. And then, like I said, I'm so bad at asking for stuff. And like a couple months went past. He's like, dude, what the fuck? He's like, I made this connection for you. You didn't ask for anything. So I was like, yeah, I'll get some cranks or whatever. And then I posted. I was like, my first box in 7 years, right? And then Stu's like, well, fuck, we can get you stuff if you want stuff. And I was like, yeah, next time I need stuff, I'll maybe mention something. And he's like, maybe we just put you on. Like, and I was like, yeah, that'll work.
Well, what spawned it was the Canadian Hall of Fame induction video.
Yeah.
So that's what you should.
Because
if you watch it.
Well, hold on. First off,
first off, Jay Miron. So Jay, I don't think Jay's touched a 20. I couldn't tell you last time he touched a 20. So he does the grind, pops out on the deck. He's like, that felt fucking awesome.
Yes.
I was like, these dudes are, in the rest of the dudes, they're probably a generation behind me.
Yeah.
They don't know.
So they're all, they know, they're massive fans.
But it doesn't mean the same.
But they were like, oh, and then Taj came by the party, and they were like,
what is happening in this little town?
Yeah, this little town in the middle of Northern Washington. So
I have to ask, why so you and Jay keep in contact? Jay's in Ferndale for what? For obviously he come to see you.
He was on his way to deliver a coffee table to Bolchin's.
Oh, that's funny. All right.
So I'm like literally 1 minute off the 5.
Okay.
So he's like just stopped in and hung out, drank a beer, and
these dudes just happened to be there.
Well, they were here for the weekend, and this was my birthday ramp jam.
Okay.
So he showed up early.
Is this turning 50?
Well, close enough.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all 50 at this point.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, and then these guys were, everyone came out. Kenny, everyone came out for the weekend. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I love how it's just always the goes back to the quarter pipe with no deck, and it always has a log on it now. Like
it's imprinting.
Yeah, too good.
Yeah,
hyped on that ice pick on that.
Yeah,
wall.
that was his first over ice ever.
Oh, stoked.
Yeah.
What is happening?
You
live in the 1800s.
I mean, you're crushing it, dude. That sounds sick.
It's fun. Life's fun.
Like Kareem's first time on a horse, the one time that you.
Yeah.
And then somewhere along here, the Canadian Hall of Fame thing happened.
Yeah, similar. That was May. So the birthday jam was May, and then Canadian Hall of Fame was August.
That right there is fun. Honestly, the
Holmes?
photo. Of
the Holmes.
Like, because Darcy reached out to me and asked me to make this video. And
that was one of
so
my favorite photos all time too.
Fudger, the early photos and the whatever, and then there's the photo of him. He's 15 and he has a Holmes book and he looks happier than a pig and shit.
Yeah.
And I was just like, why isn't he riding an S&M right now? Like,
I mean,
I was like, full circle. It's like the Doyle thing. Doyle, S&M was his favorite brand when he was 16. He did his time on the other brands.
Send me my phone right now.
I mean, our whole life, Jason always told me when we were younger, like S&M and Climber and all that was we kind of felt that way. Yeah. Coolest thing that meant anything to us when we were younger.
Yeah.
It just made sense. Like by Seattle, so he's by Hoder and Kareem and like some of that crew. We went up and we rode his house and had a good time.
Can you show that?
Yeah, it just made sense.
Show that in the camera.
S&M bikes.
Is that the bow tie one?
Sweet 16.
You gotta look at this one. He looks exactly like.
I'm gonna have to.
The young Hallahan.
Yeah.
Is it
How do
Nathan? Yeah.
It's not an iPhone, is it?
No.
No, you're gonna have to fax it.
They don't have those in around here.
Every time, there's one thing you know about Jason: his cell phone's.
It's the best though when we're on trips. You like look for a restaurant.
I don't know how to do that,
dude.
You
get the fax to yourself.
Hand it to Stu and have him pull it and put it right in front of that camera. There you go. No, it's all right. You can get the gist.
Anyways, though, like so, and I hit up Moeller about the thing, and he was all about it.
Yeah.
Jason, like, yes, let's get him on set up, whatever he wants, like.
That's it.
I will say
it's so sick.
It is awesome.
It's so sick.
I know. I remember you texted me and you're like, it's
teammates again.
And I was like, fuck yes. So I was like, first Doyle, then you.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was pretty amazing.
I think it's such a cool thing, like going back to like the gatekeeping thing and letting people in, but you're not replacing anybody. When there was like the thing about Doyle from
I was
like,
worried about the
Montana
backlash.
Yeah,
That's my only thing. I was apprehensive for the
BMX should be in a place that people who are lifers and that made a huge impact in the sport get support from brands and have that role, and it doesn't take place. It's not taking the spot of a 16-year-old or whatever, So it's done for a reason. It's cool for the brand. It's cool for the rider. Yeah. It's cool for the industry and the optics of everybody that rides BMX.
Absolutely.
That you
There's
can
a different
still
audience
get
for everything.
Yeah. I like your comments too. First and last time I'll edit the Pearl Jam. I will say when this video came out, I also made one, and I'm going to tell you this. I was in Texas working on a sting, and I had a very small window to get it done, and I texted about 40 people or something in a matter of like 20 minutes.
It was good, man. It made the difference at the show.
What I'm saying is, you're asking people to film something.
Yeah.
No one puts any effort into anything. Every single person, except a few people who didn't get it till later, got it back to me within a day, and it did it because it was for you. Yeah. Like, you made such an impact on everybody,
Like, the ceremony was good. It was supposed to end at 9, so I gauged my drinking for 9, but then it went till midnight, and I didn't get on stage till like 11:30, and I was like,
"Oh, that must have been the best speech ever."
Oh my goodness!
So I was like, just keep it together till 9, and then 9 came and went.
Is this online anywhere?
Maybe.
I want to see this.
Who else was Osado?
Yeah, me and Asada.
Was he on the same level?
Yeah, we're priming together for sure. And obviously Jay's the number one Canadian dude, but I don't think they wanted to step on any toes with his induction.
On the American
one, yeah. No, that's cool.
So we haven't even really officially announced it yet.
Really?
On S&M, there will be a big piece that comes out like.
Okay, that's why you wanted to delay.
So I think we're going to coincide this, right?
The date, it'll be like the 20th or something like that.
The World's 2000.
I know, dude.
We showed up.
He's like,
no, it wasn't 2000. It was
90 Portugal, right?
No, it was
99
Netherlands, Eindhoven.
Oh, yeah.
I show up, I'm like, fuck yeah, mini ramp worlds. I'm like, I could win this shit. I show up, it's an 8 foot tall spine mini ramp. I was like,
Osato crushed it.
oh, he crushed. But then Ruben's like, oh, I do double whip over the spine. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with
It's
my
easy.
life?
You try.
Yeah, it's easy. You try.
He's another one of those dudes who was like a full trick
Oh, yeah.
dude, and then
Yeah,
all of a sudden,
yeah, he is a full, he could do everything.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dudes like that
Yeah.
where it's like they kind of. I feel like it's the path of. I mean, Biz is in the same thing. Fucking 720s over dirt jumps. He was a dirt jump guy, but he's also street. It's like you kind of like. You're so talented, you kind of like spread wide,
Well, you
and
just
then
wrote
you
everything
and then
down.
you then you find what you really like, and you kind of narrow in on that.
I tried to gauge my, not that skill level is comparable to Ruben, but I'm like, people are like, nah, you don't want to ride for whack brands. I'm like, Ruben rode for Huffy and
Janko.
and he's the fucking god.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can ride for whoever you want. Whoever's going to pay you, do it.
Yeah.
If you're good enough, you transcend.
Yeah.
I got
like-
on Huffy and I was like,
Yeah.
Ruben,
Yeah,
Primate.
yeah.
I'm like,
They had a
this
good
is
team at the
fuck you
time,
all.
man.
Stasio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
Huffy had heavy hitters.
Yeah.
like
It just depends.
I mean,
if
those
you're-
first bikes were so
At the end of the
bad.
day, all that stuff depends.
I
if
ran
you're
race
a
for him.
fucking
Yeah.
dork or not.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
it's
it.
true.
It's
It's
it.
honestly true.
You get there's dudes, and you know who they are, who are better than any of us in this room,
Yeah.
and no one cares about.
Well,
it.
everyone's better than us in this
Yeah.
room. This room is not a good
At our-
gauge.
at your prime.
Still.
I always love this Ruben story with you. So Ruben's back was super messed up, and he had to get braces, correct, to fix his back. Jason had cavities. He's like, "Fuck, I should go to the chiropractor." You know what I mean?
Like, if it works that way, it works
Yeah,
the
like,
other way,
the
too.
other way. Yeah.
How are you doing health wise?
I think all right.
Yeah,
I think so.
nothing's causing problems.
Just normal stuff.
So
We're
you
going to
got- you got
bleed
out of
into
it.
the knee.
Yeah.
You bring it up a lot.
Oh my god!
Every time you bring it up, I love posting the photos.
Remember that one?
Yeah, I do remember. I lived it.
You remember it? Hey, you remember that
Wait.
time your knee turned inside out?
Well, I walked up to him and he's like, I hit my knee on a table. His kneecap, like a fucking shade, which went. Boom.
No, it went up.
Oh, did it
was
go up?
And buckled under.
And he looks at me. He's like, "Is it okay?" And I'm like, "No."
No, you're like, at
You have a
first.
picture of that, right?
At first, he's like, "No, I've seen this. You just need to push it back." And I'm like, "I don't know if that's the right."
You
call.
said that.
I don't know if that's the right call right now.
Well, that was the same advice of this doctor because
Yeah.
you went to the
Well, yeah.
doctor and he's like,
Yeah.
"It should attach
Yeah,
itself." And
yeah.
I'm like,
he's like, "You should be good in about 6 weeks." I physically couldn't move my leg.
Do you ever seen a picture of it?
I have. It's
yeah, it's
mortifying.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's snapped right
it's
here.
snapped in half.
Yeah,
You said
that's-
you should
that's what
push it
Dennis
back.
did. That's
yeah.
why. That's
we did the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he did the
Oh,
same thing.
Dennis did it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he just didn't have a photo of it.
Yeah.
So
Oh, gnarly.
I didn't know what to think. I was like, "Push it back."
You were being calm though. You're like, "No, I've seen this." Just like,
Yeah, I was trying to be like,
and then
yeah,
I
it's
was
just
like,
dislocated.
cool and calm.
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
you know the difference of like when you move it and it hurts, or you just physically can't move it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't straighten my leg. Like, pain was zero.
Someone just cut the muscle
Yeah.
that makes it
it was
work,
just
yeah.
hollow.
Like
it
I
looked
went to
crazy.
the hospital and they're like, "You're high," because they're like, "What's your pain level?" I'm like, 0. I'm like, "It doesn't hurt. I just physically can't straighten my leg." They're like, "We need to do a drug test on you." And like they charged me for all this shit. It ended up being
Charge
this-
him for the drug test.
Yeah, it ended up. They're like, "You need to piss in this jar, and we need to see if you're high before we can do it."
Try
And they-
giving him methadone.
and then they
shit.
did. Yeah, they tried to give me. They're like, "You need painkillers." I'm like, "My pain's 0." And the guy next to me is like, "Fucking idiot." It's like, "You always take the pills." And I was like, "No, but it doesn't hurt." I'm like, "I just can't straighten it." Like,
I do want to jump off real quick just because I just realized we have Biz in the thing, and I'd really like to clear something up here, or just make sure we can confirm something, because we've talked about this many times over the years. Biz, it is true that you remember your own birth, right?
Why is this? This is his podcast, man. I get the fuck out of here. No, I remember being in the room. So does Tony Ennis. And why is that so like hard to believe? Like you can
This is a perfect
you can
answer.
believe a guy in the sky, but you can't believe I actually remembered like being in a room. You know, like
Yeah.
This is why those trips were so wonderful.
you know,
Amazing. My kid remembers some shit from when he was like 1.5 to this day.
no, I
and
remember-
it
yeah.
blows my mind. Because one of them is when he was like, he was touching fire. He wanted to touch the candle.
Oh, you'll
and I
remember
told my
that.
wife, and I was like, let him touch a fucking candle. He won't ever touch one again. And he was like, and he cried, and he's like, yeah, remember that time I touched a fucking candle? Like, not without the F word.
That's how you learn.
And he literally remembers it. I'm like, yeah, that's insane. He was literally like 1.5. I'm like,
amazing.
Yeah. So, or he's this stepchild of God or something. Like he's like loosely related to God because he.
I don't know. Why can't people remember?
I still don't understand. I just wanted to make sure that I remembered the story right.
It's not it's a very short story. It's like 2 sentences, but
and then I was out.
I do one of these days. I would love. I want to get back into my road trip days, kind of like what you guys were talking about. Like I've as my kid gets older and we've been on like a trip to Woodward West and stuff like that. It's like
means everything.
I want to travel with him and doing going up to Oregon like we used to.
You remember
and stuff.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would love to stop by.
You don't stop doing that.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. I mean, I just think I
stopped.
I distinctly remember being on a trip. We're in Sacramento, and he's like, one of these is going to be the last one we do.
Fucking.
And I was like, you're fucking shut up. And he's like, and then one day it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like he moved away, and
it just gets harder and harder to do it. Like.
I've been trying to get up there for years.
I know.
Trying to come down.
I haven't come down here for 6 years.
Crazy. I didn't think it was that long.
Yeah. So it just gets harder and harder to get it done.
Yeah.
And it's weird because it also feels like yesterday.
Yeah. Well, that's why you put it off too, because then you're like 6 years. What?
When was the last trip we went on? During COVID, sometime.
Well, you came up to my house for my birthday.
Me and Tirada.
I left there 2021.
That's
you and Tirada came up for my birthday.
That's the last time we rode together.
Crazy.
So last time I saw him.
Yeah, last time you saw me.
Till today, yeah.
You came up right before I moved too, you and Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
stayed in the trailer again.
He
was probably way better with Karen than the rest of it.
People don't realize.
I know, he kept on wanting to cuddle too tight, and I was like, I wasn't having it.
If people don't realize it, you think it never ends, and then all of a sudden it's just like I was telling. I don't know if it was you the other day. I was like, I remember going to one of those first like old school reunions, and those dudes could have been our age now.
Oh yeah, for sure
and I was
they
like,
were.
oh, how could those dudes not be able to air a quarter pipe more than a foot or two? And like after all my injuries, I've taken it real slow, and I'm like, oh, I'm there.
Yeah,
I'm there. I can't. If I'm gonna pedal at something, I better be really concentrating.
And if you're gonna do it, it probably won't be at the old school reunion. No offense to the thing, but that wouldn't be the place I'd push myself.
No.
Yeah.
But I just, at some point, the whole life we've had together just ends.
Yeah.
Ends.
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
But I remember we were in Sacramento and I was packing up and he's like, one of these days this is going to be the last one. And I was like, this goes on forever, man. Forever.
I think the Bronco deal was running out.
It hadn't started yet.
Yeah.
Well, if we would have had that in that time, it would have been like, what's that line from Head First? It would have been like the end of Armageddon.
You got anything wise to say? I mean, does it end, or does it change?
I don't think
it evolves and it becomes something different, and hopefully
it turns into something different, and you just got to embrace that.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not going to be what it was. You can just let it be something different.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. You'll be doing it on S&M at least.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Free bike, yeah, fuck yeah.
Free bike, free gas.
I love to see it, dude. Like when you would the random posts and just the thing you've curated and how cool and like nonchalant yet fucking awesome it is. Like something that you couldn't do for a reason other than you wanted to do it, and that just like that shows through with like all the stuff you're doing, and it's cool to see S&M come and kind of like back it and just like kind of it gives you that little side motivation to just kind of keep doing what you're doing, which is worth its weight in gold, I'm sure, in these days, at this age. So
the golden years.
And you're by yourself most of the time, which is even more insane.
When people first started coming to the ramp, I'm like, it's kind of weird when people are here.
I'm not riding in front of people.
I know. I was like, this is weird, especially when it's REA and he's just doing everything. I'm like, I remember this feeling. This sucks.
He is a little Dennis.
I was like, I'm just
it's like a Dennis escaped an oil field or something like that. He looks like an oil worker.
Janko oil worker.
Should we end it there? Yeah. Thank you, dude.
That was awesome. Thank you.
I mean,
Thanks for all the smiles.
3 hours 40 minutes.
It's good, right?
Good. Yeah.
Oh,
definitely good. Yeah.
It didn't feel like that.
No, it never does. So, thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you,
We've
been
talking
Rooftop, for hooking it
about
up.
it.
Thank you for
having
coming
us.
down.
How
Thank
long?
you, Stu. Yeah.
Thank you, Stu.
Yeah.
We owe this to him.
Look at how bored this motherfucker looks over here.
He's chilling. He's a nerd just like
He's
the
had
rest
too
of
many
us.
Dales.
Yeah, dude. He's
Can't wait to get Max Miller in
That
here.
DD too.
He's like, God, I can't wait to film some real stuff. He's just over here talking about tail taps and toothpicks.
On Kuaharas. Yeah.
I don't even know how to spell Kuwahara.
Kuwhara.
Even better.
Yeah.
You gotta do this before.
Yeah. Sign that.
Oh, yeah.
And then sign that.
I got something for the wall too.
Do you?
Yeah.
Sign that board behind you too.
Fuck, I need my glasses though. They're in the car. Does Kareem have?